Jason Minix, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on a Wednesday afternoon. Boy, we got a lot to get into. James Pledger producing and dancing as always. Of course, we want you to be a part of the show. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. You can get me on Twitter throughout the show at Jason Minix. Pledge is on Twitter at I am Pledger. Tomorrow, we're going to be out and about. Tomorrow, we're calling it our official launch party for the San Antonio Sports Star. Not only am I going to be doing the show live, the Blitz live out at the Slacker Sports Bar location there in the Medical Center, but Rob Thompson's going to be out there. Rudy J is going to be out there. Carl Schoening is going to be out there. James Pledger is going to stay in his cage. I mean, that's just the way it is, but also because apparently we're going to play a bunch of Olympic bar games, and taking Pledge to something like that's like taking them to the golf course. We don't need a ringer tomorrow afternoon at Slackers, although history will tell you Pledge will be there by about 7:21. Lots to get into on this Wednesday. Yes, we will talk a lot about Hard Knocks. Yes, we'll tell you about the Dallas Cowboys and their final practice in Oxnard. But we have a Hall of Famer that's going to join us in about an hour. Drew Pearson will be on the Blitz at 5 o'clock. Make sure you're by the radio. He is still on Cloud 9, but has phone reception on Cloud 9. He's still traveling out and about, but he says he's going to be available at 5 o'clock, so we're going to get him. Can't wait to hear from Drew Pearson. And in his words, talk about his weekend. And in talking to him, I don't believe he's done an interview since he's left Canton. He did a bunch of interviews while he was in Canton. You probably saw him on TV a bunch. But this might be the first time, I believe, that he's actually talked about what the experience is like after he's had a couple of days to digest things and reflect on going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame and everything that surrounded it. And if you've ever heard Drew Pearson here on the Blitz before, you know he'll give you some inside information. He'll give you the details that you're looking for. For those of you that wanted to be a fly on the wall at some of the parties, at some of the moments that weren't captured on television, we will get that from Drew Pearson coming up at 4:30. Maddy Skye, she's got a new job. Well, a promotion at the Express News. Food and culture editor. She announced that earlier today. We'll figure out what that means and get all the latest happenings in San Antonio from Maddy Skye. She joins us every Wednesday. The NCAA proves once again they are a joke. Literally a joke. They finally finished the investigation into Art Briles, who hasn't been at Baylor at 5 years. Since that time, Art Briles has coached, I believe, in Italy and a couple of years at a small high school. And the NCAA finally finished their investigation. The NCAA has punished Baylor, but not for all the crap you remember. Because while in their words, Art Briles was aware of felonies, that apparently doesn't break NCAA rules. So they didn't get punished for that. But they did find a couple of small recruiting violations along the way. So Baylor does get 4 years probation. That's it. The NCAA is a joke. We'll talk about it with Paul Catalina from Sitcom 365 Radio. He'll join us about 6:30 after he gets off the air up there in Waco. But let's start with the Spurs. We'll get to Hard Knocks and the Cowboys in a moment. The Spurs finally make it official with DeMar DeRozan. You know, Woj told us, feels like 6 years ago, but, you know, that the deal was done. But then we were waiting for everything to get signed off on. And then in the meantime of hearing the DeMar DeRozan deal being done, then we've heard there could be some changes to it. There were some reports yesterday that some of the players might end up not coming to San Antonio, like Thaddeus Young was going to end up in Phoenix. And then, you know, there were some Phoenix players that could end up here. And it all kind of hinged on apparently Lauri Markkanen not getting his deal done yet. Until his deal was done, the other stuff couldn't go through because of all the salary cap gymnastics that you have to do. And that's one of the reasons why you hear about it. But until it's official, you got to hold pause. I mean, we've seen deals fall apart before. Remember that Morris guy that was supposed to come to San Antonio? And then what was the delay? Well, the delay was Lauri Markkanen. So you figure, okay, that's fine. And then there's people out there speculating, could Ben Simmons be in the works? Ben Simmons is, well, apparently still in the works, but not really in the works. But the deal was announced today, and it is exactly as Woj originally reported. DeMar DeRozan goes to Chicago, and everything was orchestrated to hit on Twitter at the same time, with DeMar tweeting out a video from the Bulls, which I believe was from the early 90s. Still cool, but odd. He's going to wear number 11 in Chicago. Spurs get Alfred Camino, Thaddeus Young, a future first-round pick, a second-round pick next year, and a second-round pick in 2025. Spurs aren't done, but at least that part of the deal is officially done. The Spurs have announced it officially. The Chicago Bulls have officially announced it. So all the stuff that we were hearing that another team might be involved and all this and that, none of that is happening. It's exactly the way we thought it was going to be. No changes to the DeMar DeRozan deal. So he's officially gone. Appreciate your service. Good luck in Chicago. We got some expiring contracts and a bunch of picks coming back in return. So the Kawhi Leonard trade continues to have legs for the San Antonio Spurs. Cowboys wrapping up practice in Oxnard. It is their final practice. And we're going to kind of weave through what we're knowing now after watching Hard Knocks and this final practice in Oxnard. They're going through a padded practice today, which ironically is their first padded practice since they practiced against the Rams. You know, the new CBA, so many days off. I mean, they went out there, July 22nd? It's August 11th. They've had 8 days off in that time frame. And I can't tell you how many I could probably look it up, but how many full padded practices there are, which is why you think about how important all those practices are when they do get after it, because they don't put the pads on a lot. You know, years ago, they used to make fun of Wade Phillips for Camp Cupcake. Well, these are the CBA rules. This isn't Mike McCarthy's call. This is what they have to do now. But you do see through Hard Knocks last night how they track everything and what McCarthy calls as GPS, and they're measuring the amount of reps a player is getting and the effectiveness of their reps, because they got all these guys wired up with different things that will tell them how hard they are working. You know, if you go to a gym and you're wearing a heart monitor, and it's going to tell you, are you really giving max effort here or are you not? And in California, when it's 70 degrees, you can get max effort throughout a whole practice. You know, what we do know is when they get back to the start and they're working outside and it's 95 degrees and humid, you know, at the end of practice, you're going to see those guys slump off. We have seen that. There's evidence of that. So they need to get the most out of this final practice. But the other thing, though, that you saw last night, a lot more detail if you were watching Hard Knocks. And if you missed it, sorry, I'm going to be a spoiler alert for you. All throughout the show, we are going to be spoiler alerts. But when you think about the injury to Dak Prescott, how pissed off Mike McCarthy apparently was, frustrated. When you see that, just the idea, and Dak just wants to stay out there. And Dak, and I appreciate it, dude, at some point, go get yourself healthy. I know you don't want to leave the field. We all know you don't want to leave the field. You saw it with Dak throwing. Maybe that's why he's hurt. You saw Steven and McCarthy talking about, do you even run him in camp? He's got a lot of career carries under his belt. He looks in shape. Do we need to run him a lot? We know what Zeke can do with the football. Well, we do know that Dak threw on the side Saturday. He threw about 30 passes yesterday with Amari Cooper. In his press conference earlier today, Mike McCarthy says Dak is going to do even more.
As far as his movement, he'll continue to do what he's been doing. So, I mean, he's been, getting a full day's work, as far as overall movement, as far as conditioning and, the working the run plays, quarterback drills. But I think like anything, I think it's only natural when you shut a quarterback down completely, throwing, then there's a process where you got to build them back up. So we'll continue to go through that regimen. today. So he'll do a little more throwing today than he did yesterday.
And that makes total sense that, you got to ramp him back up. You can't just start where you left off. And one of the things that you did see last night with Dak Prescott and watching him on Hard Knocks, hard not to root for him. I mean, you can tell just how much he cares about the team, how much the team cares about him. On YouTube Live, Chris Summer says Dak just needs to make sure the shoulder is good and playing one preseason game. See, and I'm of that. And when Dak Prescott, when we were in Oxnard for our Cowboys training camp coverage, Dak Prescott said right here on the Blitz, he wants to get into a preseason game. Stephen Jones on 105.3 The Fan today said, in a lot of ways, maybe you don't need to play in the preseason. There's a financial investment in the guy. We know he knows how to throw the football. Are we putting too much into it? Because Dak would take every rep at practice if he was allowed. I think we saw that last night. Stephen Jones says, to a degree, you've got to protect Dak from Dak.
This guy's so driven. It's just that's his nature, is to overwork. He's like Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin rolled up into one guy. His leadership, his tenacity, his skills, his desire to be great, to be the best. You really got to harness him in. So, we've got to be very conservative with him. Obviously, you saw him throwing the ball around. He looks great. I know some people get a little jiggy, if you will, in terms of thinking, well, it's got to be something or they'd have him out there. This is a long preseason, and we're a week ahead of everybody else. And, he's taking it all in, as you can see out there. And we're going to bring him along, but we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to protect him from himself, if you will.
Protect him from himself. Did Stephen Jones not just give Dak Prescott maybe the highest compliment you could ever give an individual player?
This guy's so driven. It's just that's his nature, is to overwork. He's like Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin rolled up into one guy.
Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin rolled up into one guy. There's no higher compliment that Stephen Jones could give Dak Prescott. None. And I know he said, and he sat out enough last year. The Cowboys have to protect him from him. But one of the things while I was watching Hard Knocks last night, and quite honestly, it wasn't great. It wasn't. I'm going to be the one guy that's going to be honest with you. I see you, Pledge.
Is it because you weren't in it?
I was in it. I think I made it 2 or 3 times. You got to look close and maybe hit pause. I will tell you, there was one point. See, you have to know where to look. I didn't make it like Jory Epstein made it or like Clarence Hill made it. But if you watch along the fence during practice and then you look at the little yellow thing that's supposed to protect players from the fence that didn't protect Michael Gallup, and you see where the reporters are all kind of standing, like it goes by. Like if you were driving down 410 at 105 miles an hour, boom, you might have seen me. Might have. I didn't pause it to go back and look, but there are a couple of plays like that I've got video on my phone that you saw last night, including Dak throwing the ball into the net, or when CeeDee Lamb made that ridiculous catch. I'm in the background. Hit pause. You'll find me. Just look for the reporters around there.
Blue shirt?
Blue shirt. Dead giveaway, huh? I'm the only one there wearing a blue shirt. That's the ironic thing. At Cowboys camp, I was the only. I'm kidding. But I didn't find it to be that compelling of an episode. I expected more for Hard Knocks. They've been following these dudes around for a long time. And I think part of it is we have seen so much of what they showed us last night. Jerry emotional at the opening press conference. Come on, you can do better than that, NFL Films. I was entertained by Zeke unable to wrap a present because I can't wrap a present any better than Zeke. But I saw that on the previews. And what it felt like was, when you go to a movie in the theater and the best parts of the movie are what you've already seen because that's what they use to sell you to go to the damn movie. The best parts were in the previews and the commercials to get you to go, but the movie itself wasn't good. That's how I felt about Hard Knocks last night. I love the photography that they do, but the storylines weren't there. Oh, goody. Dak and Zeke are really good friends. They steal each other's bikes and give them $3,000 suitcases.
There was the cringeworthy part of last night's episode with John Bones Fossil.
You know, as a guy that had a vasectomy live on the radio many years ago, I can't imagine reversing that. But John Fossil did and explained it. That was a part that should have been snipped by NFL Films. We could have done, although it was funny and it was entertaining, I'm a little surprised that made it.
You found that entertaining? I just remember cringing during that part.
Look, I mean, I did it live on the radio. I get it. And when you're talking to somebody about it, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, those young kids need to know that, you know, the one thing about a vasectomy that's wonderful is worry-free sex is the best sex out there. I mean, 100%, right? So, yeah, I could have done without that. I thought it was, I mean, we've never heard that before. That was new. You know, all the years of Hard Knocks, we've never heard vasectomy talk make the show. Then again, I don't know how many dudes sit around talking about getting cut unless you're talking to a friend that says, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, man. You went through it. How bad was it? I mean, that's typical of the conversation. I can't imagine a bunch of young dudes in their 20s asking a guy probably in his 50s about getting snip. I just thought it was odd. Thought it was interesting, funny.
Weird.
Anytime you go snip, that is cringeworthy. I think that's just a natural reaction. No different than when we saw CeeDee Lamb get hit in the Nuggets. I mean, that's cringeworthy. You know, you see that happen, and as a dude, you always feel that. I mean, it's just sympathy pains. I'm with you there. There's just an uncomfortableness about Hard Knocks, and we felt it with Mike McCarthy when you were around him in Oxnard. When Mike McCarthy was on R&R in the morning with Rob Thompson and Rudy Johnson, he kind of shared that he wasn't overly thrilled with Jerry for signing him up for this. But just between Dak, who has somewhat of a perfect public persona, and yes, he does cuss, I feel like all the complaining, like, man, they cuss a lot, is the annual tradition of Hard Knocks, like when the NCAA tournament rolls around and we all go, where the hell is True TV? I mean, by now, you know, football players cuss. Coaches cuss. I don't think they cussed any more than they normally do. You know, you go back to when the Texans were on and Bill O'Brien talked about his mom calling him saying, Billy. I mean, it just comes with the territory. That's what, and as a former sailor, that doesn't bother me. I'm proud of myself every day at 7 o'clock that I did not have an F-bomb drop. 14 years running. Although I have a safety net. His name is James Pledger. And there is a dump button available. So, I mean, you look at it, I just felt that when they were mic'd up, it was there. Being at practice, watching Mike McCarthy on some days versus others, when we were there, you could tell he was mic'd up. He was very careful about what he was saying when he was mic'd up. It felt like there was other times where, and maybe it just didn't make the show because that was part of their agreement, but you didn't see him getting on players and cussing at players. But I did when we were in Oxnard. That doesn't make the show. He said today, when asked about it, that, yeah, there's still an uncomfortable feeling about the Hard Knocks camera crews being around.
I mean, I think it's human nature, you know, especially in this business. It's definitely, you know, it's not the preferred. There's still an uncomfortableness with it. You know, you see yourself, you know, still being guarded. I think it's only natural. But, you know, I think with that, you know, the relationship between, you know, the Hard Knocks crew and, you know, we're comfortable with the end product, just to make sure that, you know, the competitive advantage and those types of things is taken into account.
And it was. I mean, one of the better parts of Hard Knocks last night, in the meeting rooms, and we didn't get a lot of that. And that's one of the cooler parts of Hard Knocks, is watching what's going on inside the meeting rooms. You know, a dude that sneezes, I could have done without that. Hearing about a vasectomy from a special teams coordinator, we could have done without that. The Austin Powers clip seemed forced, but we know Mike McCarthy does that. You go back to last year when he was busting watermelons, going all Carrot Top on the crew. But then he gave the speech that's going to get every Dallas Cowboy fan fired up.
Everything we've done in the past, because it's hard not to reflect on what we went through last year. All right? This is last year. You've seen the schedule. We have 4 preseason games, 17 regular season games, and then we got the tournament. Okay, that's what this thing's all about. So let's not waste each other's time here, because we don't have a lot of time doing the hard stuff that we need to do to get to where we want to go. Charlie around, he don't work here, okay? High school Harry, get his ass out the door, all right? This is about winning. It's about winning the world championship, period. Period, because that's all that matters. Going to playoffs ain't good enough. Having a winning season, not good enough. Getting in a championship game, not good enough, okay? Because it takes everybody. You may be tired of hearing this. I've been part of one championship team. I've stood in front of one championship team. It took 77 men to win a world championship. And that's just the way this thing goes. And once you hold that trophy up, I'm going to tell you right now, it's heavier than you think it is.
That's the moment we were all waiting for. And I don't know. I've never heard of Charlie F. around before, or high school Harry. I thought that was great.
He don't live there no more.
No. And by the way, I miss the Jason Garrett slogan T-shirts. Fight. Wouldn't F last year have been a great T-shirt for these guys to wear at practice? How much money did Jerry lose out on, although they could still make them, with having an F 2020 T-shirt? I think all of us, whether you're a Cowboy fan or you've just survived the last year, I think we'd all like to say F last year for a variety of reasons. He's obviously talking about their pathetic football season last year, trying to move forward. But that's the speech that's going to draw you in. That's the motivation that you're looking for. You know, we watch these shows knowing that we're not going to get a competitive advantage feel. They're not going to ever give you that. That's part of the deal. But what we can do is judge coaches. How do they command the room? How do they interact with the guys? Are the guys seemingly responding to them? I like seeing a little bit of friction between Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott. I think both guarded. When McCarthy had to say, dude, we're joking around, I think Dak knew he was mic'd up and coach was mic'd up. I'm just here to play. But you could tell there is that respect between the two. Kellen Moore still looks like the ball boy calling plays. Seeing him in the locker room trying to get everybody fired up for the second half. And maybe it's just because I've known Kellen Moore so long that it's hard to see him in that role as offensive coordinator. And then you get Jerry Jones putting salt on a breakfast sandwich. Is that just an age thing? I know that was one of the funnier moments, and one of the moments that caught Twitter is clearly somebody brought him some McDonald's, and he's adding salt to it. And I think about my dad. I don't care how much salt or pepper was on there. He would always add salt and pepper to everything. My dad used to take pepper and make his corn go from yellow to black. He would add so much pepper. And he talked about, you know, in Vietnam, they added salt and pepper to everything just to make whatever they were eating edible. But he would add salt, add pepper before tasting it to see if it needed to add salt and pepper. Maybe it's a generation type thing. But watching him try to eat that breakfast sandwich, that was comical. Jerry Jones eating a breakfast sandwich, obviously a topic all over social media, a lot of good memes coming out of that. Stephen Jones was asked this morning on 105.3 The Fan about his dad's breakfast habits.
Well, he's come a long ways because he used to eat it right out of the sack and have it kind of dropping on his shirt and his shorts. But I was impressed. I think he did a hell of a job with that sandwich.
Has any of this stuff been like, have y'all thought about it? I want to play this up just a little bit, or is this all natural stuff for Hard Knocks?
Well, Jerry's a little theatrical.
Yeah, he is.
So when he knows when he knows he's tuned up, then the actor comes out in him. So he can be more fun. But no, a lot of this is, I mean, when I looked at the show last night, it was, I didn't see anything that looked, overdone or anything like that. I think, in all candor, I mean, Jerry's Jerry and Dak's Dak and Zeke's Zeke and Coach Fossil's Coach Fossil.
Snip, snip. There you go. I don't know. I mean, a cake to the face for his birthday certainly looked staged for the Hard Knocks cameras to me.
I don't get the salt thing and why it blew up so much. I add salt to everything.
I think it's just because you got a billionaire eating McDonald's. I think there's this vision of every morning Jerry Jones has the catered breakfast with everything under the silver thing that they pull out with fancy. Well, you don't expect him, who's running to McDonald's to get some breakfast sandwiches, you fly, I buy kind of scenario, right? I think I do think there's some of that to it. I mean, seeing Jerry in just a regular hotel room behind a desk that looked like that just isn't the image that you think Jerry Jones has. I mean, do you think he's getting a McGriddle on the yacht? No. I mean, he's got probably more than one chef.
But do I think that he's never eaten McDonald's? Also, no.
I just think it's just comical. I mean, when you see that, it was funny. But I mean, if you go back and you watch it, like the whole time he's on camera, he's adding salt. Like how much salt was in that packet? Like he had the Super Max salt packet. He just kept adding salt.
My kind of guy.
Yeah.
Keep adding the salt, man, till it tastes good.
Yeah, but I mean, he never tasted it to see if it needed more. I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to. Hall of Famer Drew Pearson will join us coming up at 5 o'clock, but next Maddy Skye will join us as she does every Wednesday. If you're going to fire up the grill, you want the best sausage on that grill, you need to get in and get yourself some Kielbasa smoked sausage because you want that great sausage like you could find in butcher shops back in the old days. And at Kielbasa, they make their legendary smoked sausage in small 150-pound batches with only fresh, high-quality ingredients, never frozen meat. They don't add fillers or chemicals that you can't pronounce. Then it is smoked over real hardwood, just the way it was done back in 1949 when Kielbasa was started right here in San Antonio. Everything they make is still made right here in San Antonio. They're a great local company on a mission to reintroduce you to authentic smoked meats. So when you buy Kielbasa brand sausage, you're getting the best, most authentic smoked sausage you'll ever eat. If it's not, call Michael Kielbasa. He'll give you your money back. He puts his phone number on the back of every package sold. So get into the grocery store. Get yourself some Kielbasa today. Maddy Skye, she will join us next here on The Blitz right after we get a Sports Center update from James Pledger. Pledge?
Thanks a lot, Jason. In the NBA, the Spurs are still winless during Summer League play after going 0-3 in Salt Lake. They are now 0-2 in Las Vegas after dropping a 52-37 halftime lead to the Bulls, falling 92-89. Trey Jones led the way with 23 points in the loss, as San Antonio will continue play tomorrow when they take on the Charlotte Hornets at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a game that will be televised on ESPNU. Speaking of the Spurs, the deal is official as DeMar DeRozan heads to the Chicago Bulls in a sign-and trade that lands San Antonio for its Alfred Camino, Thaddeus Young, and a future first-round pick from the Bulls, as well as a second-round pick in 2022 and 2025. In Major League Baseball, the Rangers got a 5-4 win in 10 innings, a series they'll continue tonight with the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is set for 9:10. Of course, you can catch it right here on your home for Rangers Baseball, San Antonio Sports Star, starting at 8:30 with the pregame. The Houston Astros finished their short series with the Rockies after taking Game 1 last night, 5-0. They capped it off with a 5-1 win earlier today. They'll get the day off tomorrow and return to action on Friday when they open up a series with the Angels. Finally, in the NFL, the Seattle Seahawks have cut former Dallas Cowboy defensive end Aldon Smith. This, according to NFL Network insider Mike Garafolo. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star.
ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
If you've been hurt in a crash, do your research. You'll find plenty of lawyers out there. They'll probably do a fine job. But ask yourself, is fine really good enough for you and your family? Don't leave your case to chance. Contact Thomas J. Henry today. San Antonio, Texas.
Staples Connect has everything you need for back to school at amazing prices. Right now, save $55 on the TI-84 Plus CE graphing calculator. It's just $99.99, our lowest price of the season. With savings like that, your student won't just be ready for school, they'll be first day of school pop quiz ready.
It's showtime.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com/back to school today and get more than ready for back to school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Ends 8/14. Limit 2 per customer. In-store only.
For the ones going above and beyond. For the ones reaching out, helping out, and lending a hand. For the ones people count on. You can count on Grainger. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Backed by 24/7 customer support and specialists to help with hard-to-find products. Because you've got everyone's back. We've got yours. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger. For the ones who get it done.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Everyone here knows Diamonds Direct is the place to go for the best diamonds at the best prices. But did you know that savvy buyers from all over America, even Los Angeles and New York, now come here to buy their diamonds? These high-end shoppers have discovered that Diamonds Direct has one of America's best selections of large, rare diamonds, from 3 carats to 20 carats, all certified by the GIA, the most reputable and most trusted gem lab in the world. Because of Diamonds Direct's international connections and tremendous buying power, we're one of only a handful of jewelry stores in America that is able to offer a large selection of rare and precious GIA diamonds. In fact, Diamonds Direct's multi-million-dollar selection includes a stunning array of high-end Riviera necklaces, 20-carat tennis bracelets, and an extraordinary collection of rare, precious gemstones, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, and even the really hard-to-find fancy yellow diamonds. Come see why Diamonds Direct right here is the destination for high-end shoppers all over America. Extraordinary selection, quality, and unmatched value. And a short drive for you. Diamonds Direct, official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera.
My name is Steven, and I'm a school teacher. I've always considered myself an active person, but ever since my 20s and 30s, I've noticed my overall health was slowly declining. I was considered obese, and I wasn't happy. I would look at myself in the mirror and think, wow, I'm looking like an old man. I've tried many diets. I even tried running, but I'm not a runner, and developed issues with my knees and feet. No matter what I did, my weight was never in the normal range. All that changed when I met Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. With his program, I was finally able to lose weight and keep it off. I went from a 40-inch waist to a 34-inch waist. I'm down 30 pounds and even had to buy a brand new wardrobe. Compliments keep coming, and everyone asks, "What are you doing?" I tell them, Dr. Torres changed my life.
Call me for a free consultation at 468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and I can help. 468-1891.
El Wedo's Automotive Paint provides quality coatings and selection of paint supplies for your automotive finishing needs. El Wedo can match any color for that specific work you're doing. And if you own a car painting or body shop business, you have to compare prices with El Wedo's paint supply to start saving today. Come check us out at El Wedo's Automotive Paint for quality coatings and a great selection of auto painting needs. Located at 3108 West Avenue. Call us at 210-749-3116. 210-749-3116. Check us out on Facebook or Google at El Wedo's Automotive Paint.
Jason Minix, The Blitz.
I ain't even here right now. Looking at what's going on in the city of San Antonio. It's Maddy Skye. Yeah, it's Maddy Skye.
It is time for Maddy Skye here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Wednesday. Hall of Famer Drew Pearson will join us at 5 o'clock. And boy, we got big news for Maddy Skye today. She posted earlier today, and I thought, oh, crap. Because generally speaking, when somebody posts, like, I don't know, a photo and this long written thing and they put life update, that means they got a new job and they're moving somewhere. Well, you've got a new job, but you ain't moving. You got a hell of a promotion, it sounds like. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I am ISA's new and first ever food and culture editor. So it's a lot of the things I've already been doing for the past 6 years, but it allows me to fully tap into that and, have this nice new title and have a staff that I'm working with and just kind of be more of an authority on San Antonio culture and food and happenings. So it's really fun, and I think it says a lot about my SA / the Express News and putting somebody like me, a native, a Latina, in that position and giving me space and giving me more of a voice. So I'm super proud and super excited. Like I said in my post, this accomplishment is shared with everybody who came before me and with the city, because I wouldn't be here without San Antonio.
And I will tell you this, and while kudos for the Express News higher ups recognizing that aspect of it, I think it says a hell of a lot about you, your work ethic, and the things that you do that people don't see, that they would trust you with an editor position, putting you in a management position. There's a lot of talented writers out there that would be horrible editors. So I mean, I think this goes a lot further, and I think is a bigger compliment to you, especially at your age, to already have an editor title on your resume. That is the bigger accomplishment in my mind, that you've achieved this at your, and I won't say your age, but at your age, that still begins with a 2. That's, to me, that's the bigger deal there. Wow. Congrats.
Yeah. The cool thing is I accomplished it right before my birthday. So I can say I wasn't 29 when I did that. I was 28. So.
Well, that's it. But again, though, I mean, the fact that you're south of 30 still and have that position, and it's almost as if a position, I don't want to say it this way because it sounds bad, was created for you. If there was ever a position that was a natural fit, if anybody follows you on Instagram or anything, they know that your life revolves around a lot of food and a lot of events, and how you've embraced the San Antonio culture from when you were a little girl growing up. So I mean, it is perfect for you. It sounds like a perfect fit for Maddy Skye. So what does it mean, food and culture editor? What I mean, other than the obvious, what does it really mean? What are you going to do different, boss?
In the weeks preceding this announcement, I kind of already known it was going to happen for a few weeks at least. We've been pivoting to still doing our dailies, the short, fun stuff, but doing a lot of more features and profiles on who makes San Antonio. Not just getting on the phone with these people, going out and trying these things. A lot of, I can never really pronounce it right, experiential stories. So thanks, Movin. And I think we saw a lot of success the first time I did that. I think was the kayaking story. A lot of people didn't know that you could kayak, like the downtown stretch. And I went out and did that story. And conveniently, I had a friend take photos of me. It was not meant to be a story, but it raised a lot of awareness for this, the San Antonio River, and raising funds for that, because during the pandemic, there was nothing really to do. And the river walk was suffering. The river was suffering because we didn't have all the tourist waves. This was a nice way to raise money. And now it's a permanent activity that you can do. So we started doing a lot more of those things this past week. And sometimes it's small. This past, I think it was yesterday, the day before yesterday, I tried that hot Cheetos ice cream. Do not try it.
I wasn't going to.
A lot of stuff like that. So, and working with one of our staff writers, Camille, me and her are going to work closely together, and she does a lot of cool, spooky stories, going investigating or going and checking out parks, things to do. So we'll see.
It's you look at, sounds like a lot of what you've already been doing, at least on the published side of things, whether it's actually in the newspaper or online at mysa.com. That kind of stuff won't change, just maybe more experiential, right? Which again just makes you more of a part of the fabric of the community. What I find interesting, and we're going behind the scenes because it's just us talking here. So when we made all the changes here at the San Antonio Sports Star, and Rob moved the mornings, and we were talking about this segment, I was like, I kind of want to do more of the food things and the stuff that people want to go do, as opposed to rehashing various news stories. And this falls right in line with that. So at that point, when I was saying that, you knew this was coming anyway?
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling. I just didn't want to.
Thanks for the tip. Sometimes
when I'm here talking to you, work is not. I don't know. My brain switches. It pivots a lot. So I'm sorry. But last night I got to check out this place called The Yard off McCullough, which I had never been to before. And there is a nice restaurant there called Milpa, and it's in a storage container, and it has Chef Kirk at the helm of it. She just one chopped, and the food was delicious. They have these sopas that I had like 3 servings of. So if you need a date night, that place is pretty nice. I've never been there before.
See, that's the cool part about your new job is, I think about like Elder over at KSAT with Elder Eats, or when Jill Jelnick was doing YOLO Texas and all that. I mean, they're going and doing all this cool, fun stuff and getting paid to do it. And, now you get to do it. And as a part of the job, I mean, that's and you were doing it to a degree, but there was probably some things that you wanted to do that you had a boss that said, nah, we're going to send so-and-so to do it. Nah, now that's your gig. That's all Maddy Skye.
And it's more of a focus because before I was reporting on everything. I was a breaking news reporter, so I handled a mess of things. So this gives me a lot more time to focus on the things that I really like and I really thrive in.
All right. So what all is going on? What are the cool new eats that we get to go enjoy, boss, that you're going to start working on? What are some of the new things that we get to go experience through you?
New things.
And then go do it ourselves.
What I did do recently, which I haven't written about because I didn't take good photos, need to go back or get in contact with them. I just did it on my own with one of my friends. Have you been to the Dooryard?
No.
On Days of Allah. Side note, Days of Allah is also it's not getting a data point, but the Dooryard is a self-serve tap room. So they give you this cool, nifty little membership card for whatever visit you have there, and then you go up to, they have this wall of taps, and you go and you pour yourself your beer. I'm not a beer drinker, but they have like a cider, and you just, I think after every third fill up, you have to go check in with an employee to make sure you can still drink more. But really cool concept.
So self-serve. It's almost like the restaurant that has the beer taps right there on your booth. When you're thirsty, you just fill it. You don't have to wait for anybody, right? You just go there.
But you have a whole wall of options. So when you pour it, it charges you, like if you do like half a pour, it'll charge you that much. And I think my friend got beer, and I think it was
okay. So it charges you by it's like a gas pump. You could put $3 in, $5 in, $8 in.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just like that. So they also have food. It was a really cool spot. So I want to go back and take some nice photos and write up a story on that, because obviously a lot of people weren't aware of it, but it was my first time there.
And it's over on Days of Allah.
Mm-hmm.
Was it all craft beers, or do they have a little bit of everything? So all craft beers, all IPAs. I mean, can I get a Miller Lite in there?
I don't think so. I think it was all craft.
All right. Sounds good though.
So yeah, it's a pretty cool experience. So go check that out. Don't go. I mean, I'm not gonna sway people what they want to eat, but I'll just tell you the hot Cheetos ice cream was not it for me. If you want to eat it, just go get a vanilla ice cream and crunch up some Cheetos, and there you have it.
All right, let's go back, because you're very close to hot Cheetos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of hot Cheetos to begin with, so I would never try the hot Cheetos ice cream. The idea of putting Cheetos in ice cream, there are some combos that when you look at it, you go, I don't know if I'm going to try that one, and then they end up being pretty good. There's a lot of research and development. Somebody in an R&D kitchen has spent a lot of time coming up with these weird combos, stuff that you would never think of. Myself in my kitchen over here, Fireball, a shot of Fireball over vanilla ice cream is fantastic. Just saying. But I don't know that I'd go hot Cheetos, but I don't like hot Cheetos. You do like hot Cheetos, but did not like them in your ice cream.
First of all, I can't believe you don't like hot Cheetos. Let's start there. Secondly, I'm not a sweet and spicy person to start. Although I did have a good cake last night at that local place that was spicy and hot and sweet. But I already knew that I wasn't gonna like this. But I gave it a chance for the people, for the readers, and we went out there, and just like the consistency of it was disgusting. Like it wasn't like a crunch. I couldn't even trick myself into thinking that the Cheeto was like a pecan or some type of nut. Like you could totally tell it was a Cheeto, and then it started getting soggy. Was not. So because of Marble Slap, they mix everything, and it's not like it's like a flavor. So it's whole Cheetos. I don't know. It was funny to see like these national outlets like Delish and New York Post like ranting and raving about how great it was. Like, as a hot Cheeto connoisseur, I can tell you this is not.
I mean, and that's the beauty of the position you're in now, even more so. But and kind of like here, you got to be honest. You either like it or you don't like it. I mean, that's it. And for somebody like you who is a fan of hot Cheetos, I'm surprised because I've seen you put a lot of hot Cheetos on things that I go, God, that girl's crazy. That's just gross. Yeah, no, but I don't like hot Cheetos to begin with, so I'm good. I'm good. I could live without it. Any big plans for the weekend?
The weekend, I want to go see Eliza Schlesinger. Is that how you pronounce her name? The comedian. Party Goblins at Tobin. So I'm going to try getting those tickets for my mom and I. I think that's it. Saturday, there's a fashion event, a precursor to San Antonio Fashion Week, which is usually held in the fall in October. I'll probably go to that. Yeah. Busy, kind of busy.
Fashion Week. Yeah, something I've never been to. Something I'll never get invited to either.
You never know. You got to show up with one of your mini black or blue t-shirts.
That's kind of it. It's either black or blue t-shirt or golf shirt. It's about the same. Same jeans.
Less is more. You got the staples. That's all you need. We'll
that's
call it
it.
A capsule wardrobe. That's what the cool kids are calling it.
Is that it? It's got a name?
Minimalist. Oh, speaking of wardrobes, did you see Justin Thoreau was wearing a Spurs Selena shirt?
I did not.
Yeah, he was wearing one of those like military drag style t-shirts. Yeah.
Explain to Jason who Justin Thoreau is first.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Huh? Who is he?
Jennifer Aniston. I'm married to Jennifer Aniston. That's the description. Married to Jennifer Aniston. He's an actor. He's been in a few movies. I don't know them off the top of my head, but he's an actor.
If he's married to Jennifer Aniston, why is he shopping at the gas station tent on military?
I don't think she's married. I don't think they're married anymore. I'm pretty sure they split up.
How did he screw things up with Jennifer Aniston?
Isn't that like the question forever with starting with Brad Pitt?
All of them. All of them, which tells you a lot about Jennifer Aniston. And the old saying, at some point, some guy's tired of that crap. I don't care what you think of her.
Maybe she's too good for them. Have you thought about that?
No. Fair enough. Maddy Skye, as she joins us every Wednesday. Congratulations on the promotion. Well deserved and quite an honor. And again, say all the things you want about the Express News and what that you kicked ass to get this, especially at your age, to be an editor. That's impressive. Congrats.
Thank you.
Maddy Skye, as she joins us every Wednesday here on The Blitz. Coming up in about 12 minutes or so, Hall of Famer Drew Pearson is going to join us. And we've talked a lot about Dak. This stuff going on with the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson and Davis Mills. If you're asking who Davis Mills is, that might be their quarterback. He was the one that was drafted. We'll get into that as well as we continue. And, of course, your phone calls on the Kia Bossa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN. 656-3776. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested and you want to get out of jail fast, because you do, best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go to the website, mybestbailbonds.com. You can even start the bonding process there online at mybestbailbonds.com. You can text the word bail to 474747. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail. A lot of reasons for that. And you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you really understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Trust me, a lot of conditions there. Your best option, AA Best Bail Bonds for stress-free bail bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, offer a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7. They have offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, in the Valley, in or in between, license number 149. Text the word bail to 474747 or call AA Best Bail Bonds 210-225-2121 or go to the website mybestbailbonds.com.
The Saturday Morning Hangover. Saturdays 9 to 11 with James Pledger and Tech Thompson. Roll out of the sack as the guys recap the weekend sports and deliver in-depth takes on the weekend's upcoming action. On San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
More people are driving than ever before. That means a higher risk of you getting into an accident. Call My Collision Center first. Our professionals use original, not aftermarket generic parts at no extra cost to you. Aftermarket parts will bring your vehicle's value down. Your safety and satisfaction is My Collision Center's top priority. We work for you. We provide a written lifetime warranty and invoice verifying parts are factory original. If you have an accident and you want factory parts at no extra cost to you, choose My Collision Center.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at the reopening of Edwin Watts. We've weathered the storm, and now we're open. Come visit our newly remodeled store featuring GC quads in every hitting bay. Check out the new arrivals from all the top brands like Ping, TaylorMade, Titleist, and Callaway. Edwin Watts has the largest selection of shoes, bags, balls, apparel, and more in stock. Swing by our newly remodeled store and get custom fit for free today. Edwin Watts is the home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
We are honoring the pursuit of brews and barrel-aged bourbon every Friday at Bourbon and Brews. Get to Twin Peaks from 5 to 7 every Friday and experience a lingerie costume party paired with exceptional bourbons, tastings, and giveaways. Cheers.
While most water providers do a pretty good job making sure they exceed EPA guidelines, did you know EPA standards for tap water have not been updated in almost 20 years? With growing concerns of our aging infrastructure, more homeowners want to take their water quality into their own hands. That is why you should call Alamo Water Softeners and have them give you a free water analysis. Some chemicals and contaminants are undetectable. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com. Join us tomorrow at Slackers Medical Center to celebrate the launch of San Antonio Sports Star. Our whole crew will be on site battling it out in a special edition of Sports Star Olympics, basketball, beer pong, darts, and you could win cash prizes, Sports Star swag, and John Mayer tickets. It's all going down tomorrow at Slackers Medical Center location starting at 4 with the Blitz, the official San Antonio Sports Star launch party with our friends at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar. We'll see you out there.
Owning a business comes with pressure. There's a limit to what I can do and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30-plus years of HR experience to work to help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance, while giving my employees competitive benefit options. And because I'm able to focus on other priorities, my employees can thrive and my business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Texas Rangers baseball.
Leo 1. Joey looks to bunt toward third. Nobody there. Base hit, Joey Gallo.
Texas Rangers baseball happens here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hey, this is Sarah Spain, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. It's the Blitz. I'm Jason Minix. I'm in my kitchen today. Tomorrow, I'm going to be at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar. Dude, you guys don't understand. It's almost like Dak Prescott last night just wanting practice reps. You know, hearing those guys on Hard Knocks talking about being in front of fans. Doing shows live on location is a lot of fun. And not having it for a year, you realized how fun they really are. And tomorrow, not only will I be doing the Blitz out there, but Rudy J is going to be there. Rob Thompson's going to be there. Carl Schoening is going to be there. And apparently we're doing some sort of Olympic-type games beer pong, which should be an Olympic game.
Mm-hmm.
Pop a shot. Did I hear darts?
You did.
Here, it might take a while. I mean, all challengers for a game of Miss Pac-Man. I'll kick your ass. But come out and join us tomorrow at Slackers, the medical center location, starting at 4 o'clock. We're going to have a lot of fun out there tomorrow, as for the second time in over a year, we get let out of the kitchen.
I love that you say that you've missed doing live remotes when technically for over a year, you've been doing nothing but live remotes. You're doing one right now.
Well, I mean, technically, but I'm not on location. I mean,
The location's just your kitchen.
Much like the audience, I'm putting you to sleep. I mean, based on Bailey and Princess and their reactions to our conversations, everybody's asleep right now, right? Is that what you're saying? I mean, no, it's different. I mean, I'm sitting in the kitchen by myself and 2 dogs. That's different.
Don't worry, they'll come paw at you in 30 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's kind of like when the guy just shows up for the free swag. Hey, I want that koozie. What can I register to win? We're going to have a lot of prizes to give away as well. That's what I'm told.
John Mayer tickets, I've heard.
Well, I don't know. I don't have anything.
Koozies, lanyards.
Uh-huh.
All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff. Texas Trophy Hunters Association tickets to give away. Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff that we're going to give away. You know, the Deshaun Watson news continues to haunt Texans training camp. But I did see something good today out of Texans camp. Davis Mills is apparently getting better. And today had his best practice of training camp. He got his shoes on his right feet. His shoelaces stay tied. His socks were pulled up, right? No, I mean, by all accounts, he's getting it. But as I saw one of the Houston media members tweet, and I forget which one, and we'll talk about it tomorrow with John McClain. How is he supposed to get better with the crap that is around him? And that is such a great question. I mean, when you've got a rookie who's trying to develop, but he doesn't have a DeAndre Hopkins to help him out. I mean, you talk about starting your NFL career behind the 8 ball, and he really has. It's unfortunate. Drew Pearson started his NFL career behind the 8 ball. He's now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And Drew Pearson will be on the Blitz next here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. The NFL season, regular season, is right around the corner. Time to start thinking fantasy, even more so. Underdog Fantasy is the best new place to play fantasy sports online. They've got a great app. Website is underdogfantasy.com. They've got daily and season-long fantasy sports and NFL best ball format, which is easy to play. And a great way for you to practice for your home draft that's probably 3 or 4 weeks away. At Underdog Fantasy, they already have contests for the 2021 NFL season already live, including their Best Ball Mania 2 tournament, which is the largest tournament in all of fantasy football. $3.5 million in total prizes, only $25 to enter. And when you sign up today, use promo code radio, make your first deposit, you're going to receive a free $25 in bonus cash. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com, find them in the App Store, and register with promo code radio to get $25 cash for free with your first deposit. Download the app, start playing today. Just use promo code radio at sign up. Terms and conditions apply. Play online, download the app, and if you don't like it, they guarantee your money back up to $100. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com.
Cowboys football is not a gentle game. Cowboys football is not soft. Cowboys football is war. Just don't use that helmet as a weapon. When you want total Cowboys football coverage, get it here on the home of the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
How can I make sure my office never stops working?
With Staples Connect, it's possible.
I need to keep my back office stocked without messing up my bottom line.
Also possible, because Staples Connect has your small business covered with big savings on everything you need. This week, earn 30% back in a Staples store bonus when you spend $85 on ink or $200 on toner. Explore what's new at your local Staples or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. Limit 4 in-store only. Visit staplesconnect.com/store bonus for details. Ends 8/21.
Join us tomorrow at Slackers Medical Center to celebrate the launch of San Antonio Sports Star. Our whole crew will be on site battling it out in a special edition of Sports Star Olympics, basketball, beer pong, darts, and you could win cash prizes, Sports Star swag, and John Mayer tickets. It's all going down tomorrow at Slackers Medical Center location starting at 4 with the Blitz, the official San Antonio Sports Star launch party with our friends at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar. We'll see you out there.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
If you're thinking about a compact tractor and you want the best, you can afford a Kubota. Hi, I'm John Ewald with Ewald Kubota. Come into one of our 10 locations and check out the Kubota L2501 tractor package deal, which includes a 4-wheel drive tractor with a hydrostatic transmission, a front loader, a rear mower, a box blade, and a trailer, all for one low price. With a deal this good, you can afford a Kubota from Ewald Kubota. Check out our package deals at ewaldkubota.com.
When your AC fails in the San Antonio heat, there is no time to search. Save Service First in your contacts and have an AC tech on speed dial 24/7. Service First. Save us before you need us.
Have Service First in your phone, 521-1500.
The granddaddy of all hunting shows returns to San Antonio. The 2021 Hunters Extravaganza, August 20th through the 22nd at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall. Bring the kids and see Gator Country's huge alligators and last season's bucks in our annual deer contest. Check out the latest in hunting gadgets and gear and enter our locked and loaded mega giveaway to win big. August 20th through the 22nd at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall. For details and tickets, go to huntersextravaganza.com. A Texas Trophy Hunters production.
This is the home of the Cowboys, Rangers, and Aggie football. KCDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Jason Minix, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Coming up this hour, we'll talk a lot about the Cowboys, their practice today. We'll talk about Hard Knocks from last night, but
the wait is over! Over! How about that? The original number 88
is in the Hall of Fame, and he's on The Blitz right now for the first time in our long relationship. I get to say this. Hall of Famer Drew Pearson is joining us now here on The Blitz. Drew, congrats, man.
Thank you, Jason. Can you say that again?
Hall of Famer, let me do it right. Hall of Famer Drew Pearson is joining us now here on The Blitz. And I had to play that clip because I knew I was going to get you on at some point this week to talk about the weekend, but your schedule obviously has just been crazy. And finally, we get to have this conversation. And I just want to start, obviously, the congratulations when you finally got the word that you were going in. We had that conversation. But tell us about the weekend, man. I mean, all the buildup. Was there a moment that just kind of made you sit back and go, holy crap, this is really happening?
Yeah, it was a busy weekend. I got in there on Wednesday, and from there, things started happening. The game, the Cowboy Pittsburgh game, and press conferences and things like that. Then we had to do the parade and all that, and round tables, and you just didn't have much time to yourself. But I enjoyed every minute of it. But the one that stuck out. Excuse me. I lost my voice yelling so much from the speech and then at that parade. But the one that stuck out the most for me that said, "Hey, this is real," is the Gold Jacket dinner. When I was sitting in that green room back there with the other Hall of Famers, and as they went out there to get their gold jacket, and they came back with the jacket on, looking totally different than when they went out there. And everybody in that room would get each and every one of them a standing ovation from the class. And so that was special. So when I went out there and got mine, putting that jacket on let me know it was real. It was for real. And then going back into that green room with Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson, all these great guys, some of their family and stuff. You go back there and bam, they give you that standing ovation and say, welcome to the team. Welcome to the team. That's when you really feel it. That's when I really felt it.
Hall of Famer Drew Pearson with us here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. So much of the weekend you're aware of ahead of time with the scheduling and trying to make all the events and then all the parties. And you mentioned no time for yourself over the weekend or very little time. And I know it's only Wednesday. Have you sat back yet and kind of reflected? I know you're still on cloud nine, but have you had an opportunity to kind of sit back and reflect on the weekend and everything that went on?
Jason, not in depth, I'd like to do that at one point, but no, not in depth. I got back in on late Monday night and all day Tuesday. Yesterday, I was out of it, man. I just ran out of gas and I had to sit down, lay down, and this old man had to rest up, And today I got to doing more things, but I really haven't had a chance to really sit back and reflect the whole weekend and what went down and the feelings throughout it. And you know what? I really want to do that because I want to remember this as much as I can, as long as I can, in the best way that I can. So I'm going to reflect, and I've been kind of reflecting on little things that we did with the class and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to make sure this is really embedded in my memory, no matter what I go through for the next 10, 20 years or whatever.
And I would say probably end up being a pretty damn good book. And I ask that. I've known you well enough. You are an historian. You're an attention to detail kind of guy. So I know you're not going to forget little things because, you're so good at that. And, and I know that as much as this meant to you, and we've talked about, for years you would come on this radio station and I would say a man that needs to be and should be in the Hall of Fame. And for you to finally get there, and you talked about it in your speech, the journey for Drew Pearson, where you started to finally get into the Hall of Fame, whether it was 10 years, 20 years, 25, 30 years later than it should have been, you're where you belong.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like I belong here. I always felt like I belonged in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. As a player, I never dreamt of that. I wanted my performance to be good enough to be in that Dallas Cowboy Ring of Honor, the stepping stone each and every Sunday, that performance to one day lead me up there. But once I got all decade of the 70s, that's when I started thinking about Hall of Fame. And when that came out, I still had a couple years to play, and Harvey Martin made second team. And, we said to each other, we still got a couple years to play. Let's try to add on to what we accomplished already to try to guarantee us a shot into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But, there's nothing you can do about it. After your eligibility, your time is up on the playing field. You can't catch any more passes or touchdowns or first downs or Hail Marys or whatever. And you got to leave it in the hands of those people that are making the selections. And sometimes it's a tough process, especially when you get out of the modern day category and fall into the senior category. And I was lumped in that senior category for a long, long time. And a lot of guys have. I'm not the only one. But it's a tough process. But I tell you this, Jason, only one time did I really come out negatively against the process. When I think Rayfield Wright and Bob Hayes, there was like 3 Cowboys that were supposed to go in and only one got in. And I said, man, there's biases and there's politics in the process and that type of thing. That's the only thing I ever said negative against the Hall of Fame, because I never wanted to say anything negative, because by saying something negative, you're saying something negative against those guys in the Hall of Fame. And even though I'm not in there, there's guys that in there, that I played with and played against and stuff like that in there, they're Hall of Famers. So I didn't ever want to bring any disgrace or negativity against the Hall, because I didn't want to shame or bring anything negative against those players in the Hall of Fame.
Well, and you're in the Hall of Fame now, and one of the things that I've always been a proponent of, especially when you talk about being in the senior category, honor people while they're alive and they can enjoy it. When you think about Ring of Honors, you think about Hall of Fames, you need to be living with that. While it's great for the family when you see somebody get honored like that after they have passed, that person died not knowing if they actually made that accomplishment. So for you, I love the fact that you were there. You delivered a great speech. My goodness, Drew, I don't know how you hit the time. You went a little over. I thought you were going to go for about 45 minutes. I thought you were, kind of like Peyton joked, Ray Lewis is just finishing up. I've known you a long time. I'm impressed that you did that in under half an hour.
Well, I did have a little more to go, but I wrapped it up. They had a big gap from the last thing I said, the big gap to the last words I was going to say at the end of my speech is Hail Mary, blessings to you all. So they had a big gap on the video, on the prompter from my last words to Hail Mary, blessings to all. So that gave me the signal that say it's time to get out of here. So that's when I wrapped it up. But there's a few more people I wanted to thank, but you got to condense in, and I think the class just did a great job of doing that, staying in with the parameters that they gave us. But you know what, Jason, I'm not surprised because the class I'm going in with, character, integrity, athletic greatness, what a class. We agreed to stay bonded with each other. We also agreed to go back every year. There's so many guys that don't go back. I don't understand that, to celebrate the new class. But we made a bond with each other to go back every year, and that will be our reunion as well. So pretty cool experience.
It is really cool. And you talk about the class that you got to go in. That includes Peyton Manning. That includes Megatron. Obviously it's the Hall of Fame. You're all great, right? Right. But I mean, the people are talking about this might be one of the greatest classes, and having the weekend that it was with two classes in one makes it one of the biggest or the biggest Hall of Fame weekend celebrations ever. And I thought they did a really nice job, at least from the TV side. And you tell me, because, obviously you were there, of making sure that everything was equal. There wasn't the Saturday night guys got shortchanged at all versus the Sunday night guys. I thought everything from what we got to see on ESPN and NFL Network looked like it was just an incredible performance pulled off by the Hall of Fame to make sure it was all equal and what it was supposed to be a year ago.
Yeah, they did an amazing job, the Pro Football Hall of Fame Committee and the city of Canton. They accommodated two classes. You know how many guys going in. Normally have as many as 8, okay? And but if everybody felt VIP'd and taken care of like I did, then they did a good job, because I didn't want for anything. I had a driver at my disposal. I had anything I needed at my disposal, information, whatever. My family was taken care of. They had their shuttles. They had their flight information. Everyone got picked up at the airport on time. And this is just my family, okay? And they had to do all these other families the same way. But I didn't hear anybody complaining about it. And there was a little talk about it, initially. Why are they stuffing two classes together? Why don't they do them consecutive weekends and that type of thing? But it worked. It worked. And it worked in a way that nobody felt they were shortchanged, as far as I know anyway. So they did an amazing job of putting this on. The volunteers, I don't know where they find these people, Jason, but man, it's amazing what they do and how many of them there are. You notice them all by orange shirts with the Hall of Fame logo on them, and they were prevalent everywhere. And they're all there to help the players, families, the fans, and friends, and everybody. So it was a great experience, and one I'll remember, of course, for the rest of my lifetime, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Hall of Famer Drew Pearson with us here on the Blitz. Let's talk about the fun stuff. I was at your Ring of Honor party. What was your party like for the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
It was a nice one. We got down. After
Don't
my
undersell it,
induction.
Drew.
I know. Well, I got a lot of good compliments about it, and after the induction and enshrinement, we had to wait around to take pictures and do press conference and interviews and stuff like that. So I didn't get there till later, but everybody, once the ceremony was over, they split right over to the party, and we had great food. We had pizza. We were baking pizzas right there on the spot. We had ice cream for the kids, all kinds of drinks. We didn't go with a big band, musical group. We had a DJ. He did a great job. A lot of my teammates were there. But by the time I got there and went out there, man, it was amazing to see everybody there and to try to remember everybody. And then, then I see my teammates. Bob Lilly, Doug Cosby came all the way in from California. Doug Donnelly, Tony Dorsett, Cliff Harris. I know I'm missing somebody, but they were there. And Pearson Strong was strong. But we had a great time. You know how we partied, man. You know
Absolutely.
But Jason,
Absolutely.
I am going to have a private party in down here for friends and family that couldn't get to Canton. So you'll be on that VIP list for sure.
You let me know, man. I got a lot of vacation days banked up. I will be there. Not a worry. James Pledger, he's begging for an invite too. But and you think about
it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, get in line, Pledge. Absolutely. You look at it and you have a big party like that. Everybody's having a big party. Do you get to go to the other parties, or do you have to just go to yours? Like, could you go to Peyton's? Could you go to, some of the other ones that were going on, or are you kind of stuck having to, and I say stuck, but just going to yours?
Yeah, you're pretty much stuck going to your own. You just don't really have. Steve Hutchinson, I could have went to his when I left mine. I left mine almost 2 a.m., and they tell me Hutchinson's went till 5 a.m., so I could have went over to his and visited that, but most of the others were over by then. I was going to go to Cliff Harris's after his induction on Saturday, but I made a mistake in stopping by the hotel where all my cousins were assembled. We had a big room set up for that, and I knew once I got in there, I wasn't going to be able to get out of there. But it's hard to circulate the parties, to get around, because you want to spend that time with people that came up and spent time and money and everything else to, celebrate you. So you want to give them that time. So wasn't much getting around.
You mentioned a bunch of your old teammates showed up. And, I saw, your high school quarterback was Joe Theismann. He was there. Danny White was there. Obviously, all the other Hall of Famers. Did anybody show up that surprised you?
Danny White. I hadn't heard from him. He didn't RSVP or anything. And, I didn't know if he was coming. I was hoping he would. But I think that might be it. Lilly and Dorsett, the Hall of Famers, were going to be there. But Doug Cosby, he named one of his sons Drew. We had a tight relationship, when he played with the Cowboys, and him coming all the way from California, and it's not easy to get into Canton from anywhere, let alone California. So, just that, seeing those guys. And what the real deal was when you saw the Hall of Famers like Willie Lanier, Bobby Bell, Chris Carter, Ray Lewis, and they come up to you and tell you it's about time. You deserve this. Welcome to the team. Franco Harris was so excited for me.
Awesome.
Harry Carson was so excited for me. I couldn't believe it, man. He said, we're finally on the team, man. I always respected you, and, as a good player, you should have been here, and that type of thing. And that's what really, got you and made you feel good. Because now, you don't feel like you snuck in the back door to get here. You came through the front door where you should have been coming through a long time ago, but you're here now. And finally, like Dorsett said, the Hall of Fame just got better now that you're in it, man. So that's pretty cool.
That is very cool. Drew, did they get your bust right?
Yeah, I wanted a little bigger, the afro, but that's the limit. You know how big that is? That's 19 inches, by the way, in case you want to scoop that. It's 19 inches, and that's the length they let me have it. They had to have room for the other bust, so they had to put a limit on my afro. But yeah, they got it right. Scott Myers down in Granbury, Texas. A shout out to him. He's done this. I think was the 25th bust that he's done. He's done Haley and Cliff Harris and guys like that, Lily. But when I went down there to review it, I saw the features. The nose, the lips, the mouth, that was the main thing. And he captured that because I could see my dad in those features. And so, man, because that was me. And so, yeah, I said, gave him the high five and the pump fist and said, hut, let's go with it. And so, yeah, it's already in place in the hall. They let us take it they brought it to our party, displayed it there so we can take pictures with it with everybody there at the party. So yeah, they nailed it, man. And the best thing about it is we get a replica of that we can have in our homes. So that's pretty. I was going to ask, do you get a replica, for yourself? It looks incredible. And with that hair, I was trying to think, where are they going to display that? Because if your bust is in front of somebody else's, they're going to be blocked out, because, and they did good. Your hair was perfect. Troy's hair was perfect. They were joking on TV. They might have to make the two busts for him so they could display the back of it, because I think more people just want to see the back of that hair. But your afro looked incredible. At 19 inches, that's going to be a bar trivia question here before long. Absolutely. Well, I claimed that I had the biggest afro in NFL history while I played. So this should be the biggest afro in NFL history in the Hall of Fame. With all due respect to Curtis Johnson, he was cornerback for the Miami Dolphins. He had one that was pretty big and out there, but I still had the biggest in NFL history. So. But yeah, they put a limit on me. They said, Drew, we can't go past 19 inches. I'm sorry.
Come on, give me 24. Make it 2 feet. Make it real. Have you taken off the gold jacket yet?
Actually, I just was checking it out. I had it in. I've taken it off. I didn't wear it on the plane coming home, and I didn't need it because, man, it was crazy at the airport. Rick Gosselin and Scott Murray, local media guys. Gosselin had the senior vote, very much instrumental in pushing me through the senior door. But all the fans and everything, people just recognized me and coming up for autographs, taking pictures. I get on the plane before we take off. The pilot announced we got a Hall of Famer on here, Drew Pearson. I get up, wave to the back of the plane, and everybody's waving and clapping and going crazy. It's been crazy. And so no, I didn't have to wear the gold jacket home. I did have a Hall of Fame face mask on and a Hall of Fame zip top. But no, I just got through looking at the gold jacket and kind of shaking it out, and I was going to put it in my closet, in my bedroom. But I said, no, you got to go in the front room. You got to go in the front room. So I got a little coat hanger by the front entrance to my house. So that's where it's hanging right now. It'll be there for a while.
Do you only get one? I'm being kind of a knucklehead here because I figured you'd have slept in it or get yourself a replica gold jacket robe, make it a little longer, make it a nice robe for the Hall of Fame. But I mean, what do you do with that thing? You can't send it to your local dry cleaner, can you?
Oh, yeah. It's a regular jacket. It's a Hager sports coat. I had my tailor do the measurements, and then Hager did the final fitting on it, and then they sent it to Hager for the final. I went down there to check it out and see it for the first time. And then after the approval of the fit, they take it and ship it back. They ship it up to Canton. And then you don't see it until that Friday night. But then from then you have to wear it everywhere. But, people now will request when you do a thing. I'm doing something tomorrow afternoon, and they want me to wear my gold jacket. Make sure you wear that gold jacket. So, that's all you're going to wear nowadays, jeans, dressed up with a sweatpants. You got to wear that gold jacket.
Just wear that gold jacket. That's why you need like at least 3 of them. I mean, because at some point you got to get the thing cleaned. At some point, you're going to spill something on it. At some point, right? That's incredible. At some point, somebody's going to realize it's 100 degrees in Dallas. You're not wearing a jacket.
Well, here's what happened. My button fell off. Okay.
Uh-oh.
It fell off the Saturday night ceremony. My top button, the one you button up on a 2-button jacket, sport coat, the button fell off. I couldn't believe it. And so I take it back. I said, hey, just go get me a needle and thread. I could do the sewing. I did all that stuff as a kid, sewing, iron, cooking, and all that stuff as a kid. I know how to sew. And said, oh, no, we'll take care of it. We want to steam it and everything. So they took it and they sewed it back on. And guess what? The night of my induction, the button fell off again.
What?
The button. I went to the party with the button off my coat. I was so upset, man. I'm all about the fashion and all that thing, and looking right, and that upset me a little bit. So I'm going to take it to my tailor, have my tailor sew the button on right, and then kind of take it to the cleaners from the trip, because I didn't wear it. I put it in the suitcase coming home. But they gave us a nice suit bag to put it in, and so it was pretty well protected. Then I hung it up, and the wrinkles just fell right out.
That's awesome. Drew Pearson, Hall of Famer. That sounds good, doesn't it? Hall of Famer.
Oh, man.
Drew Pearson.
It really does. It really does. And, I'm in 8 Hall of Fames. No, 9. This is number 10. And like David Robinson said in the Ray Nitsky luncheon, he said, once you're to the new class, he said, once you're in this, even if you're in other ones, it ain't none of them going to be like this. The respect you're going to get for being in this Hall of Fame is going to be like none other. And he's certainly right. He was certainly right. So it's amazing. You mentioned something about waiting too long, understanding whether guys are deceased or they know what's going on. That's the blessing for me, even though after waiting, the good Lord still let me have my faculties. I understand, I can appreciate, accept it, give an acceptance speech for it, and enjoy it, and all that kind of stuff. So I feel blessed in that regard more than anything.
And
in
some ways,
guys, they wait too long before they can enjoy it. You know what I mean? And
absolutely. And in some ways, I imagine the wait makes you appreciate the moments a little bit more, although it would have been great 25 years ago as well. Drew, always, I know how valuable your time is, especially now. It's been a whirlwind for you since you had that meeting with David Baker from the Hall of Fame up there at the Star with Jerry and Roger. And, a whirlwind. You finally get to the weekend. It's all there. And it's great to officially call my friend Drew Pearson a Pro Football Hall of Famer.
Well, thank you, my friend. Thanks for having me, and I enjoyed the conversation as always. You always bring it. I appreciate it.
We'll talk soon. Drew, we'll talk soon, man. Have fun. Thank you for doing this. Appreciate it. Drew Pearson, Hall of Famer, here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. If you want to react to what you just heard from Drew, I saw some tweets coming in while we were having that conversation, and the NCAA has finally come down on Baylor. A hand slap. That's all Baylor gets. We'll talk about that as we continue here on the Blitz. If your brakes are bad or you think they're going bad, do us all a favor and get them fixed. Jason Minnick's here for New Brakes, nubrakes.com. They're a mobile brake shop. That means they will come to you to fix your brakes. Let's face it, we're all busy. None of us have time to go spend hours waiting at a repair shop or want to deal with the hassle of dropping your car off and going back to get it the next day. That is the beauty of New Brakes. They will come to you to fix your brakes. Your home, your office, wherever you are, they are going to fix your brakes without interrupting your daily schedule. And at New Brakes, they provide convenient and affordable brake repairs, and they only fix brakes. You're not going to get the upsells like at a traditional repair shop. Most repairs are done in less than an hour, and they use premium brake parts, and they back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Save 10% when you mention my name or San Antonio Sports Star at nubrakes.com. nubrakes.com. They're great at what they do. Go read all those 5-star reviews and schedule your repair now. Nubrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com. We'll react to Drew Pearson, and we'll talk about what the NCAA did to Baylor today. It ain't much. We'll get all that and more after James Pledger gives us this Sports Center update. Pledge?
Thanks a lot, Jason. Yeah, in sports, well, we'll start in the NFL, where breaking Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott said today he will undergo another MRI when he returns to Dallas on Monday for his right shoulder strain suffered early in training camp. He's stopped down because he felt soreness and tightness in his arm that raised an alarm. In other news, the Houston Texans tried to end training camp in an attempt to ban media from practices, but the NFL has stepped in, shooting down the team's attempt to circumvent the league rules, as according to the NFL rules, all daily practices must be open in their entirety to local media through August 26th. In college football news, UTSA sophomore running back and former Judson Rockets Sincere McCormick added to his preseason accolades as he was named second-team preseason All-American by the USA Today. The 2021 Conference USA Preseason Offensive Player of the Year also appears on the preseason watch list for the Doak Walker, Earl Camber, Tyler Rose, Maxwell, and Walter Camp Player of the Year awards. Finally, in the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs are still winless in Summer League play after falling to the Chicago Bulls 92-89, as they'll get back to action tomorrow when they take on the Charlotte Hornets at 2 o'clock. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star.
ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Score points with some of the boldest keto-friendly, protein-packed, and low-carb snacks out there. And with their new Southern Recipe Small Batch 6-bag variety pack, you'll get to choose a different flavored pork rind every time. Find Southern Recipe Small Batch at your local H-E-B, and you'll always have pork rinds ready to go. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Hi, Tom Bodette for Motel 6, leaving the light on for families back on the road. Kids in suitcases jammed in the back, earbuds tangled in the dog, heading to see Aunt Jasmine and her rock garden. Admit it, you missed this. And Motel 6 has been missing you. With our clean, comfortable rooms and great low rates, we've been giving families on the move the perfect roadside rest for almost as long as Aunt Jasmine's been putting rocks in her yard. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Don't let a slick Willie or some Johnny-come-lately throw you a fast one. Go with a trusted pro you can count on. Your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer is trained to be the best. Quality service before and after installation. American Standard Air.
Go with the pros at Aramindia, the same company South Texans have trusted for over 30 years. American Standard. Comfort the way you like it, comfort you can afford.
ARAMENDIA, Aramindia.
License number THCLA 447668.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of My Pillow.
Here to tell you about my Giza Dream bed sheets. The long staple cotton makes my Giza Dream sheets ultra soft and durable. They come with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now you can get the best sheets ever for the best price ever. When you buy one of my Giza Dream bed sheet sets, you'll get another one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listeners square and use promo code SKY, S-K-Y, for this amazing special.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
And Doug.
Check it out, Limu, a roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look, an emo wearing sunglasses.
Limu, you're famous. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. The granddaddy of all hunting shows returns to San Antonio. The 2021 Hunters Extravaganza, August 20th through the 22nd at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall. Bring the kids and see Gator Country's huge alligators and last season's bucks in our annual deer contest. Check out the latest in hunting gadgets and gear and enter our locked and loaded mega giveaway to win big. August 20th through the 22nd at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall. For details and tickets, go to huntersextravaganza.com. A Texas Trophy Hunters production.
Second it takes. The Blitz with Jason Minix and Sports Insiders. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. James Pledger producing as always. Damn, that was a lot of fun talking to Drew Pearson. And I've known Drew and I go way back, and I'm proud to call him a friend. And I couldn't be more thrilled for Drew Pearson watching him over the weekend and seeing a lot of the comments coming through Facebook and the YouTube and whatnot. I appreciate it. And I know Drew appreciates it as well. And when he has that party in Dallas, I'll be sure to, you can live vicariously through me because I'll post all over social media with that. That is for sure. All right, so while we were talking to Drew, Dak Prescott was talking in Oxnard, California. And there's some mixed messaging coming out of that press conference. Pledge is going to try to find the audio, but Dak Prescott is going to have another MRI Monday when they get back to Dallas. However, he did not re-injure himself, it doesn't sound like, while throwing over the last 2 days. The MRI Monday is a follow-up to see how the progression has made from his shoulder. So it's just a look-see to see progress. There was some tweets out there because, Dak said he's curious, and I'm paraphrasing because I have not heard the audio, just what I've seen on a variety of people's Twitter feed. But basically, he was curious, trying to figure out how the hell he hurt himself because he doesn't want to do that again. And what we know about Dak Prescott is he's curious. So, but the MRI isn't anything more apparently than they just want to check progress. No, nothing alarming. He's thrown for 2 days. He's feeling good. It's not, setback. None of that. And when I first heard MRI coming up on Monday, I thought, oh, bleep. That's not the case. He called it a freak accident. And you think about Dak Prescott. Admittedly, I forgot, mainly just because I hate watching those injuries happen, that dude tried to put his leg back in place after he broke his leg against the New York Giants. And I remember it, but I'd forgotten about it. But literally when they showed the video of him slamming his foot against the turf to try to get it to jar back in, sometimes you'll see guys do that with a dislocated finger or a shoulder. He was trying to do that with his ankle. Yikes. So don't be alarmed. I'm not alarmed. I shouldn't be alarmed. Or should I be? About Dak Prescott having another MRI.
I don't know exactly how to take this because we've heard so many things from so many people about whether it's serious, whether it's not serious, reaching out to the Rangers, where the injury is. It's hard to really gauge exactly what is wrong with his arm and how serious it actually is. But the more coy they are about it, the more doubt creeps into the back of my head. And it's much the same way like when the Texans canceled mini camps earlier. I thought it was because of Deshaun Watson. And it was like, no, they got a good involuntary mini camp or OTAs in. So they canceled the 3-day mini camp because of their participation, despite the new coaching staff, despite the 60 new players on the roster. And now they're trying to shut down training camp. You can't tell me not all those moves are related.
Again, I think NFL teams, every team wants to guard everything. But what we did learn last night in Hard Knocks is while the concern level initially was probably greater than what the Cowboys led on, what they've told us publicly is really what we saw privately. You know, other than the initial reaction from Mike McCarthy not being overly thrilled that his quarterback was hurt, we heard that they reached out to the Rangers last night during Hard Knocks. We also learned that they reached out to the New York Yankees. But we didn't learn anything from Hard Knocks last night about the severity or concern level of the injury that we already didn't know. And the fact that he has been out there throwing, and if it was more than that, would they have sent him to a specialist? Would they have sent him to other doctors? There's a lot of things that we've seen them do for other players. I remember when Travis Frederick was trying to figure out why he was dealing with numbness, and they sent him to a specialist in Los Angeles. So I look at how the Cowboys have handled it, and with the behind the scenes that we got last night on Hard Knocks, and I think there's some truth to that. It was an unsure injury initially, then about a 2-week rest period, and then he started throwing this week. He threw a little bit on Saturday. He threw yesterday, and as Mike McCarthy said in his press conference earlier today, and we saw it, if you're watching NFL Network, you saw him throwing a little bit more today as they ramp him back up.
As far as his movement, he'll continue to do what he's been doing. So, he's been getting a full day's work, as far as overall movement, as far as conditioning and, the working the run plays, quarterback drills. But I think like anything, I think it's only natural when you shut a quarterback down completely, throwing, then there's a process where you got to build them back up. So we'll continue to go through that regimen today. So he'll do a little more throwing today than he did yesterday.
And today's the final day of practice in Oxnard. That was Mike McCarthy earlier today there in Oxnard during his press conference. And my first thought was, why wait till Monday? But actually, it does make a little bit of sense that they will wrap up practice in Oxnard and leave Oxnard tomorrow and go to Phoenix. Dak is not going to play against the Cardinals. And then after the game against Phoenix, they'll get back to Dallas about 5 a.m., and the players have the weekend off. And then on Monday, they have their big blue-white scrimmage. And I do think it makes sense for them to do the MRI to check progression after a couple of days of throwing. It's not, all right, 2 weeks, let's take a picture and let you go throw. Let you throw a couple of days, and then we'll see how it looks. And so I'm fine with that. The timeline does seem to make sense. Hell, maybe they already packed up the MRI machine since they're already getting the hell out of Dodge. Not that there's not one available somewhere in Southern California. If they really needed to get a good look-see, they could probably do that. So again, I'm not overly concerned because you're not seeing concern from McCarthy. You're not seeing concern from Jerry or Steven, whether it was on Hard Knocks. No more concern than you wouldn't have in something that you invested $160 million in. Based on what we've seen, if there was major concern, maybe there's a trade in the works with, the Bears to get Andy Dalton back. Maybe RG3 leaves his long career at ESPN inside of a week to go to the Dallas Cowboys, or Alex Smith, who got hired today by ESPN. Maybe he would give it another run. They're not trying to bring in any other quarterbacks, and it's quite clear that Garrett Gilbert's all right. Cooper Rush ain't. And Penn DiNucci. I hope you got your resume together and joined LinkedIn and bought the premium, because you're going to need to find a job. So when you look at it, their actions are also telling you that he's fine. And one of the things that you did see in Hard Knocks last night was Dak said at one point he doesn't want to leave the huddle. He missed a lot of time last year. He's taking a lot of reps. You saw Mike McCarthy's concern with the number of reps he was taking, because they track all of that. He's on a pitch count. He doesn't want to be on a pitch count. Aaron Rodgers is on a pitch count. Dak's on this pitch count that he doesn't want to be on. And even Stephen Jones was talking today on 105.3 The Fan about the drive that Dak has. And sometimes you have to protect Dak from Dak.
This guy's so driven. It's just that's his nature, is to overwork. He's like Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin rolled up into one guy. His leadership, his tenacity, his skills, his desire to be great, to be the best. You really got to harness him in. So, we've got to be very conservative with him. Obviously, you saw him throwing the ball around. He looks great. I know some people get a little jiggy, if you will, in terms of thinking, well, that's got to be something or they'd have him out there. This is a long preseason, and we're a week ahead of everybody else. And, he's taking it all in, as you can see out there. And we're going to bring him along, but we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to protect him from himself, if you will.
A couple of things in there is Stephen, I think we're all getting a little jiggy and concerned about the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. After watching Hard Knocks last night, guys like Rob Thompson went from to all-in Super Bowl, right? And we'll talk about that coming up at 6 in the High School Harry's and Charlie F. Around's speech that Mike McCarthy gave last night. But also, and this would be a topic all on its own if it wasn't dealing with the injury that Dak Prescott is dealing with, but did Stephen Jones just give the highest compliment you could possibly give to a player?
It's just that's his nature, is to overwork. He's like Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin rolled up into one guy.
Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin rolled into one guy. There's not a higher compliment that a coach or a general manager can give a player. That's a pretty incredible compliment. And I've never heard Stephen Jones make a comparison like that with those two guys. And that's the gold standard with the Dallas Cowboys that they get measured up to. And now you're saying those guys combined, leadership is what Stephen went on to talk about, work ethic. And you think about Michael Irvin. That guy and his party nights are legendary. But he was always the first one on the practice field, and nobody worked harder. And if you needed help in the locker room, whatever it was, Michael Irvin has said on this show before, being a football leader is knowing every one of your teammates and what their hook is. Some guys are motivated by money. Some guys are motivated by whatever that hook is, family. You found that hook, and you motivated everybody individually, not all as a group, but individually. To hear Steven say Troy and Michael rolled in the one, that is one hell of a compliment. We'll talk more about Hard Knocks coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. What'd you think of the show? We'll get into Baylor and the slap on the wrist they got, but we'll push that off to 6:30. Paul Catalina from Sikkim 365 Radio is going to join us. But Pledge, you brought up what's going on with the Houston Texans and the stunt they tried to pull today. And I just hope maybe it was a typo, but it's not.
It's not.
But like they will this season, they failed at their attempt. Their first loss of the year. John McClain won, Houston Texans We'll talk about that as we continue here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. If you're going to fire up the grill, you know you need to get into Tri-County Meat Market, because that great meal starts with great meat, and there's no better place to go to get your meat than at Tri-County Meat Market. They have their own homegrown Wagyu. I'm talking about farm-to-fork Wagyu. They've teamed up with Dean and Peeler Premium Meats out of Floresville for more locally sourced meats, but they've got everything you need because they're locally owned and full service. Carefully selected, certified prime Angus beef cuts, Wagyu, and upper choice. If you need the beef, the chicken, the fajitas, pork, poppers, they've got it all. And whether it's meat that you're going to season, they've got a lot of seasoned stuff that's just ready for you to put on your grill. I promise you, nobody does better fajitas than Tri-County Meat Market. I've tried. I just buy their seasoned beef fajitas. I can't do it as good as what Tri-County is doing. They always have their Pick 5 for $25, so if you want to stock up and load up your freezer, you can do that. When you walk into the Huebner location on the left side, they got that great freezer there full of desserts. They've got some seafood in there. They've got everything you need to up your grilling game, and they always offer a 10% discount for military and first responders. Tri-County Meat Market, 2 locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Huebner, online, tricountymeat.com.
The Dallas Cowboys travel to the desert to take on the Arizona Cardinals in preseason action. Friday night. Coverage starts at 8 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, inviting you to come out and enjoy patio season. We have newly remodeled patios, garage doors, and everything else you need to enjoy this great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks. Happy hours daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And our kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. See you soon at the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road.
While most water providers do a pretty good job making sure they exceed EPA guidelines, did you know EPA standards for tap water have not been updated in almost 20 years? With growing concerns of our aging infrastructure, more homeowners want to take their water quality into their own hands. That is why you should call Alamo Water Softeners and have them give you a free water analysis. Some chemicals and contaminants are undetectable. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
My name is Steven, and I'm a school teacher. I've always considered myself an active person, but ever since my 20s and 30s, I've noticed my overall health was slowly declining. I was considered obese, and I wasn't happy. I would look at myself in the mirror and think, wow, I'm looking like an old man. I've tried many diets. I even tried running, but I'm not a runner, and developed issues with my knees and feet. No matter what I did, my weight was never in the normal range. All that changed when I met Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. With his program, I was finally able to lose weight and keep it off. I went from a 40-inch waist to a 34-inch waist. I'm down 30 pounds and even had to buy a brand new wardrobe. Compliments keep coming, and everyone asks, "What are you doing?" I tell them, Dr. Torres changed my life.
Call me for a free consultation at 468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and I can help. 468-1891.
You hear all the time about Diamonds Direct's prices and selection and warranties. All true, and all good reasons to give us a visit. But what really sets Diamonds Direct apart is something that's hard to put into words. But you will feel it. You'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's our unique culture, our passion, our genuine and absolute desire to totally revolutionize the way you experience jewelry shopping, with a laser focus on celebrating your special moments. Every associate, every receptionist, every jewelry craftsman, every single person at Diamonds Direct shares this DNA, this overwhelming desire to exceed your expectations, to honor your trust, to revel in your moment, to make your experience truly magical. This is not a mission statement written on our wall. This is the essence of who we are. It's what drives us every day. It's why we do what we do. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion, for real.
A 17-week season. And only one couch. Let's hope it holds up. The Cowboys are back. The explosive action happens here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is Rob Thompson on your home for Dallas Cowboys football. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Tomorrow we're going to be live out at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar, their medical center location. I'll be doing the Blitz from 4 to 7, but Rob Thompson's going to be there. Rudy J's going to be there. Carl Schoning's going to be there. The whole San Antonio Sports Star crew will be there as we have our official launch party. This is your official invitation. You want on the VIP list, just show up. You'll win free stuff. We'll have all kinds of stuff to give away. I don't know what, but we have lots of stuff to give away. I've seen a list. There's John Mayer tickets. We've got some new koozies. If you have old koozies, I don't want to do an exchange program, but you do need to add to the collection. If you can go back to when we were the Zone and then the other ESPN SA koozies that we've had, now you got to add the San Antonio Sports Star koozie to your collection. We know you are a P1. So come out and see us tomorrow, and we're going to be playing a bunch of games. I'm not sure how all that's going to work. I'm not the commissioner, but it's going to be a fun time tomorrow. And trust me, the party doesn't end at 7 o'clock when the Blitz does. That's when it gets going, because it'll take about 20 minutes for Pledge to show up. And, you know, when Pledge shows up, it will start with a shot of Jameson, and then we will go from there. Tomorrow, 4 to 7, 4 to whenever. Slackers, the medical center location. So the Houston Texans, a writer, columnist for the Houston Chronicle, Brian T. Smith, he's a newspaper type, got to get the middle initial, tweeted out the Texans announced that today is the last day of training camp. What? So basically, they want to move into regular season mode, because that would mean that their only media obligations are to allow media for the first 20 minutes of practice, which nothing happens. Nothing happens. So basically, if Deshaun Watson takes any snaps, no media would be there to see it. 2 hours later, he updated that tweet and says, Texans have to keep full camp practices open to the media until August 26th, like every other NFL team, because you can't do that. You just can't do that. That's against league rules. The Texans did release a depth chart today. Deshaun Watson is your fourth-string quarterback. Even on a Pro Bowl roster, I don't think Deshaun would be considered fourth string. It's laughable. It's laughable, some of the things that Texans management has tried to do. And then this starts with Cal McNair. And then you add in Easterby, and you add in Nick Caserio, who, by the way, thinks he's a coach and not a general manager. Apparently, this guy is just all over the field. I mean,
that was his thing in New England, too.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bill Belichick let him go around and tell coaches what to do?
Yeah, he threw with the quarterbacks and did all kinds of stuff. He was on the field.
All right, because I've known a lot of general managers, and I've seen a lot of general managers, and I've never seen them do that. Botello Franklin says, how did the Texans turn into the Washington Generals? I don't even know if they're that. I mean, it is ridiculous what has happened to a once almost proud organization, to a team that I used to refer to as my chick on the side. That team, everything they do just seems wrong. They screw it up. John McClain will join us tomorrow, as he does every Thursday. And we'll talk about the progress that you're seeing out of their quarterback, their draft pick, Davis Mills. But Taylor's the starting quarterback. I don't know who we're going to see in the preseason game against the Green Bay Packers this weekend. But stuff like that. Remember during OTAs, you got 50 new players and they gave them a roster without numbers? I mean, what kind of third grade crap are the Houston Texans really trying to do? I mean, this is an organization who multiple times under Amy Palachek won the Pete Rozelle PR award. And they fired her. She's now with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then you see stuff like this. I know people that used to work for the organization that could not wait to get away from the organization. And that started when OB was still there. And the culture, has just gotten worse. On the front office side, the departure of the great Jamie Roots to everything that you're seeing on the football ops side, it is just pathetic. I didn't think a team could get run worse than Dan Snyder. On Twitter, somebody said James Dolan.
It's pretty good.
I think as far as piss poor running an organization, the Texans are looking up to James Dolan. James Dolan is making fun of them. Daniel Snyder saying, "See, you think we're screwed up? Look at the Texans." It's an embarrassment. Really is an embarrassment. I'm glad the NFL acted quickly in telling the Texans, no, you can't just cancel training camp. And you know what? If they could, every team would, including Mike McCarthy. As much as he cannot stand Hard Knocks being around, he understands his boss is running a circus. He understands his boss understands the media drives the ship. There is a reason they're worth, almost $6 billion? Speaking of Hard Knocks, what do you guys think? We'll talk about Hard Knocks. Take your phone calls, get your reaction. 656-ESPN, 656-3776 on the Kia Bossa Bacon phone lines. You can also hit me up on Twitter at Jason Minix. What was your favorite moment of Hard Knocks? Did you have a favorite moment? We'll get into it as we continue. The Cowboys are in Oxnard. It's about 70 degrees. You don't use your AC out there. When they get back, they better hope their AC works. If not, you got to call Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC because you cannot live in August in Texas with your AC being bad. You've got problems with your AC. You got problems with your plumbing. There's one company to call, and that is Quarter Moon. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quarter Moon, they do not have commission sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions. They have a great experienced staff that has earned an A+ ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quarter Moon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899 is the phone number. 651-5899 or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
The Mega Man. Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star.
Every time Carl talks about what goes on outside the studio, I'm amazed.
Palo Santo, incense, sage, saying there's negative energy in the garden. I got a lot of aroma stuff. If anything, it lifts the personal spirits.
It's all right. Sage burning, yoga instructor, oft pooping, busy dude.
Rob Thompson, Carl Schoening, weekdays noon to 2 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Hey, happy hour's back at Twin Peaks. Get up here Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 and score sweet deals like $1 off all wine, liquor, cheap shots, and freezing cold 29-degree draft brews. Are you feeling snacky? We also have select apps available for $2, $4, and $6. Cheers!
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it going to work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Ad paid for by CompleteCar.com. This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to the COVID crisis, we are announcing a low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay nothing for auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay nothing for auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-549-1985 now. Drivers who are covered by this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair bill again. This auto coverage is at an all-time low, much lower than what dealerships are charging. Additionally, drivers who activate this auto coverage today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and free rental car at no additional cost. Call for your free quick quote today. 800-549-1985. 800-549-1985. What do you have to lose? Again, 800-549-1985.
The home of the Rangers. This is Rangers Radio on KCDC. San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Call into the show on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. 656 ESPN. That's 656-3776. Jason Minix, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. What a good show today. And I say that. Drew Pearson, Hall of Famer. And it's just fun to say Hall of Famer Drew Pearson. It really is. He was on with us at 5 o'clock. Probably a good 30 minutes with Drew Pearson talking about the weekend. Stuff you haven't heard before. He told some really good stories that I know you have not heard before. If you missed Drew Pearson an hour ago, check the audio vault at sasportstar.com. It's there. And we'll tweet it and all that kind of stuff as well. But if you're an old school Cowboy fan, he told some stories that you have not heard anywhere else about the Hall of Fame weekend and some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that Hall of Famers go through. It was a fun conversation with Hall of Famer Drew Pearson. Again, sasportstar.com is the website while you're there. If you've done any grilling lately, take a picture. Thursday, Grilling with the Blitz, we'll give away a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. I've gotten a lot of comments on something I put on the grill yesterday, watermelon, and it was fantastic. I'd never seen that before. I've seen other vegetables on there, but I saw, and I'll give him all the credit in the world, Chad Forcier, who is an assistant coach with the world champion Milwaukee Bucks. He's a Traeger man, and he had some watermelon on his Traeger. He put it on his social media. And I said, well, I got to try that. So I put some watermelon on there. That is a game changer. It really is. Now, I don't know how he did his. I mean, we've texted since because I tagged him on mine, and he wanted to know how I did mine because he was just screwing around and said, what the hell, let's put it on there. So I had my Traeger at 225 with the Super Smoke feature for about 10 minutes because I was maybe a little longer. No, not more than 15. I can promise you that. But what I was trying to do was, well, it's watermelon. I don't want it to dry up. I didn't want it to melt away. I don't know if watermelon melt away, but I didn't, I don't want it to dry up. I also didn't want it to be hot. Have you ever been outside somewhere, you're at the coast or whatever, and you go take a bite of watermelon and it's been in the sun and it's hot? That's not good. So I was trying to figure out how to do this. But I wanted to, obviously, if you're putting it on there, you're trying to infuse the smoky flavor in the watermelon. So 10 to 15 minutes at 225. And if you've got a Traeger and you can use the Super Smoke, do that. Holy cow, it was good. It wasn't cold, but it wasn't hot. But you could taste the smoke in there. And I can only relate it to if you're at one of them fancy bars and you're getting some, mixed drinks and you see the bartender will light it on fire and you get that smoky flavor in your drink. Kind of does that with watermelon. It was that same effect. A little bit of a game changer when it comes to watermelon. It was fantastic. It really was. So if you do something like that, ESPNSA.com, sasportstar.com, Tri-County Meat Market, hit the win thing, upload your photo. While you're there, all kinds of stuff you could do. The audio vault, you could register to win back to school cash, $500 for you, $500 for your charity or your school. Lots of things going on there at sasportstar.com. That's the new website because, we changed our name. In fact, we're having a launch party tomorrow out at Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, the medical center location for Slackers. All of us are going to be out there. The Blitz live from 4 to 7. We'll be having some Olympic-type games, and we'll also see what else we're going to do. Drink a lot and have a good time and give away a lot of good stuff. All right, Pledge, Hard Knocks last night. I didn't think it was all that great.
I'm shocked, to tell you the truth.
I got to be honest. I mean, it was good. I love seeing it. I love Hard Knocks. I love the idea of Hard Knocks. It is porn for football fans. But I thought last night was a miss. For the expectations of Hard Knocks, of what we are used to seeing from Hard Knocks, I thought last night's episode was vanilla. You don't have the compelling underdog guy. You had, I mean, I can't wrap a present to save my life, so I did enjoy Zeke having trouble wrapping a present, right? But I saw that on the previews. Dak Prescott is just so guarded when he knows he's mic'd up, and you could tell. And being around Oxnard while they were filming, you could tell when guys are mic'd up and when they're not.
I did appreciate Dak telling the ball boy that he would give a girl a shout out for him, though. That was cool.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and again, that's what you got. The whole cake thing looked very staged. It felt staged when we were watching it live. But at the same time, seeing it last night was even more of a staged feeling. I don't know. I mean, it just, it's the Cowboys. The cinematography, the video, the editing, all that was great. The stories were vanilla. It was very generic. When the buzz on social media was that Jerry Jones puts too much salt on his McDonald's breakfast, that's the highlight. Or John Fossil talking about a vasectomy, and then for the life of me, I don't understand why he reversed it. But again, I'm a dude that did a vasectomy live on the radio. I don't know why you would reverse that once you had it done. But I don't need a special teams coordinator to explain exactly how it all works with all the proper terminology. I don't know that his players in that meeting room really gave a damn. And again, as a guy that's had a vasectomy, the only time you talk about the vasectomy is when a friend of yours is about to go do it and they call you up and they say, all right, man, it's time to do this. How bad was it? That's the only time. You don't sit around with a group of dudes and go, boy, let me tell you about getting a vasectomy.
Dr. Chop was great.
I'm telling you, I went to Dr. Tallywhacker.
Oh, that was it.
It was Dr. Tally.
I thought it was Richard Chop. I don't know why I thought that.
Well, because, kind of like your locksmith named Mr. Key, true story, up in Austin, there is a guy, his name is Dr. Dick Chop. That is his name. And this is what he does for a living. So when you look at it, I mean, some people are born to it. I had Dr. Tally. And, but again, you don't talk about it in a group. Say, I don't know why he's talking about it with a bunch of 20-year-olds. Because they are a long way away from thinking about a vasectomy unless they just know they don't want any kids.
Wait, did they sign Antonio Cromartie without us knowing it?
No. And again, that is a conversation that maybe you do say, hey, Antonio, you know what you need to do? Yeah, you know what you need to do? This is what you need to do. No, it just lacked. I mean, quite honestly, and you tell me, what was your favorite part of Hard Knocks last night? 656-ESPN, 656-3776. You can tweet me at Jason Minix on Facebook Live or on YouTube. Hit the comments. Honestly, my favorite part last night was Micah Parsons and Dan Quinn on the phone, And the odd part that Micah Parsons had to go find the phone on the sidelines. Clearly, that's not something they went over in practice because he had no idea where to find the phone. And then, kind of like a strange movie out of the 80s, there's a phone ringing and he just answers it.
Hello?
Yo, Mike, it's DQ.
Yo.
All right, so tell me about on the Bison. What can you do with your alignment?
Widen out.
Yeah, that way you can edge set and turn the ball back into all the big guys. Hey, that's the ones we learned from, and you got some of the ones in. And the ones I'd say on the mobile, like be super aggressive. That's your call to go dog somebody.
All right, can I get one more?
Nope, that's it for tonight.
I'm just getting like warmed up, adjusted.
Me too. So that's it. All right.
That was not enough.
I agree. But we get an extra one, so you'll get plenty next week.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Peace.
All right.
A couple of things that I really like that. I love the energy from Dan Quinn. I know he got fired as head coach in Atlanta, but the energy level of a coordinator and what you're seeing, doesn't it remind you of Seattle in the Legion of Boom? I love the fact that, and he's probably been DQ his entire life. Who knows? But obviously, unlike Jason Garrett, he didn't say, "This is Coach Quinn. Address me as coach." He's DQ. And he ends the phone call in the middle of a game with peace. All right, man, peace. I mean, just the relationship there. The fact that Micah Parsons was begging to go back in. He was just getting warmed up. The conversation with Leighton Vander Esch on the sideline. Because I promise you, Leighton Vander Esch was that exact same way in his first game, trying to make every play and then trying to tell the young guy, the young lion, as he calls himself, always hungry, whose nickname probably needs to be Snacks. Even my wife said at one point, do they ever feed this guy? He always seems to be hungry. But Micah Parsons wanted to make every play, and he was. He was good. But the rest of the show, it just lacked the drama. It lacked the feeling of being a fly on the wall. I mean, it was great to see Zeke and Dak, and clearly they are great friends. So Zeke stole Dak's bike. Big deal. Where was the prank stuff? You got a $3,000 suitcase as a birthday present, and Zeke doesn't know how to wrap it. I mean, Mike McCarthy, you could tell is uncomfortable with the microphone around. You could tell with what they allowed us to see, and keep in mind, the Cowboys, and the guy that watches it and previews it and nixes everything, his name is Rich Dalrymple. What they showed, and you could tell at practice on days when we were out there in Oxnard, whether Mike McCarthy was mic'd up or not. Based on what I saw last night, now I think back at the practices that I saw when we were in Oxnard, I can tell you which ones he was at that were mic'd up, because he is a lot more animated on a couple of days than on other days. And there were days where if you were watching last night, and I wish I knew where they had their speaker system, but John Fossil is walking around with a little headset as if he's working the drive-thru at McDonald's where Jerry got his breakfast sandwich that apparently needed salt. And he's calling out all the plays for the situation. So 2nd down and 7, third, whatever it is and what groups they're in, Fossil has that headset on, so every player is hearing what's going on. The fans hear it, the media hears it, all that kind of stuff. There are some days when McCarthy would take the headset from John Fossil. You saw one little snippet of that last night. And when he did that, you could tell from the audio that they didn't have him mic'd up audio. They were getting that straight from the camera system. So you could tell the difference of Mike McCarthy when he's mic'd up, when he's not mic'd up. And he's obviously not mic'd up every day on the practice field. I mean, he said today during his press conference that, yeah, he's very uncomfortable being mic'd up.
I think it's human nature, especially in this business. It's definitely, it's not the preferred. There's still an uncomfortableness with it. You see yourself, still being guarded. I think it's only natural. But I think with that, the relationship between, the Hard Knocks crew and we're comfortable with the end product, just to make sure that the competitive advantage and those types of things is taken into account.
And we, with Hard Knocks, you're not going to see any competitive advantage. We all know that. I thought the stuff with Dak was interesting on the injury front, not the birthday. The injury from the ankle, talking about his scars, his brother's suicide, some of that interesting. Although he did say he had a second surgery and they kept that under wraps. That was reported on when he had the second surgery. I know Jane Slater and Jory Epstein and John Machota, all of them had written about a second cleanup surgery. So I don't know if Dak was just not paying attention to the news that week, but you didn't break news last night, Dak, by saying you had a second surgery. Now, if you'd have said a third surgery, that would have been there. But we all knew there was that second surgery. But even in the meeting rooms, you had a guy talking about vasectomies, and then you had a guy that doesn't know how to sneeze. And that was the meeting room stuff we got until we got to an Austin Powers clip and figuring out what the mojo is. And Mike McCarthy trying to have your mojo moment. But the moment he had, Mike McCarthy's mojo moment last night on Hard Knocks, his fire-up speech that's going to have every Cowboy fan thinking Super Bowl.
Everything we've done in the past, because it's hard not to reflect on what we went through last year. All right? This is last year. You've seen the schedule. We have 4 preseason games, 17 regular season games, and then we got the tournament. Okay, that's what this thing's all about. So let's not waste each other's time here, because we don't have a lot of time doing the hard stuff that we need to do to get to where we want to go. Charlie around, he don't work here. Okay? High school Harry, get his ass out the door. All right? This is about winning. It's about winning the world championship. Period. Period. 'Cause that's all that matters. Going to playoffs ain't good enough. Having a winning season, not good enough. Getting a championship game, not good enough. Okay? Because it takes everybody. You may be tired of hearing this. I've been part of one championship team. I've stood in front of one championship team. It took 77 men to win a world championship. And that's just the way this thing goes. And once you hold that trophy up, I'm going to tell you right now, it's heavier than you think it is.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go get that trophy. I thought that was a good part. I never heard of Charlie F. around or high school Harry. I haven't heard those terms used before. And I think he missed an opportunity for a T-shirt that says F last year. Jerry Jones, you missed an opportunity. I think we all would like a T-shirt, whether you're a Cowboy fan or not, that says F last year. Because I think most of us feel that way for a variety of reasons, whether it was a Cowboys season of suckage or everything that we've gone through. Jason Garrett, he's going to handwrite that on his new Giant shirt, F last year. But overall, I mean, it was for a couple of weeks of preparation, all the video that they get, and they're able to turn it around. Some backup offensive lineman saying that he wants to eat some of the cake. I don't get it. And I know I'm in the minority based on what I've seen on social media. Cowboy fans loved it. Non-Cowboy fans hated it. Shocker. But where's the compelling storylines? Where's the underdog player that we get to root for? I know they're doing some stuff with Ty Inseki, who had a poor game. And I thought maybe that would be a good edit transition when they talked about Micah Parsons and his good game to Ty Inseki and his poor game, knowing that they had him mic'd up for a couple of days out there and going to tell his story. Maybe they've decided maybe it makes it in a future episode. Who knows? I look at Maurice Canaday, dude that wears number 31. That guy sat out all of last year. I forgot he was on the roster. I didn't know where that guy's been in the NFL for a couple of years. That guy balls out in practice, and you saw it in the preseason game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. People ask all the time when you get back from camp, anybody stand out? Well, the people that you expect to stand out stood out. CeeDee Lamb, those types? Yeah, absolutely. Maurice Candidate's been my answer. He was the one guy that you were like, that guy was impressive. And then somebody said, well, who are you disappointed in? That answer is easy, too. Jabril Cox. I expected a lot more from him from that week that we were out there in practice. Haven't seen him make plays. Didn't see him make plays. But if I'm watching Hard Knocks based on their history, isn't that what you're looking for? The compelling storylines? I mean, Dak is a likable guy. It is hard not to like Dak Prescott. It is hard not to root for Dak Prescott. I think you could say the same for Zeke, although we really don't know Zeke. All the years that he's been in the league, because of some issues, he doesn't do a lot of interviews, does a lot of podium stuff, but you don't really know his personality. You think you do because of what you've seen on TMZ or the low-key faded video or that kind of stuff. So it's an opportunity for Zeke to shed some light on his personality. And I appreciate the fact that the dude's searching YouTube to figure out how to wrap a present. I can't wrap a present, although I don't know that I would have tried to YouTube it. But that's what I look for Hard Knocks for. Give me the good locker room stuff. Was there an assistant coach that you just think is totally nuts besides John Fossil yesterday? I mean, so, yeah, the video stuff is good. For, my wife and niece, seeing the complex when we go out there, you got to see a lot of what we see. All right, cool. But outside of that, I thought overall that was a disappointing episode. Typically, Hard Knocks comes around, I'll watch it, I'll rewatch it that night, and I'll watch it the next day. I'm all in. I'm looking for the nuggets that I might have missed the first time. I didn't do that. Didn't watch it a second time. I wish Hard Knocks would find Charlie F. around. That's what I want to see on episode 2. Let me see High School Harry. Mic that guy up. Because I've seen Mike McCarthy light up a player or two out there in practice. But last night, we saw Jerry adding salt to a McGriddle. And people are losing their mind. That part I don't understand. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. The NCAA has come down on the Baylor Bears from the Art Briles situation. Or did they? It's a slap on the wrist. It's comical. The NCAA is a joke. We'll talk about it coming up with Paul Catalina from Sikkim 365 Radio in Waco. Paul Catalina joins us next here on the Blitz. In San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. Let me tell you about Alamo Water Softeners, a great locally owned, family-run business by the Townsends. I've had a water softener from Alamo Water Softeners in my home for about a decade. When we moved in January of 2020, first thing I had installed in the new house was the new water softener from Alamo Water Softeners, because I won't live without one. You and your family deserve the best water quality. That's why you need to call Alamo Water Softeners. Let's face it, every water provider, they do a good job of making sure they exceed EPA guidelines. But the EPA standards for tap water haven't been updated in almost 20 years. You got growing concerns about an aging infrastructure. More and more homeowners want to take their water quality into their own hands. That's why you need to call Alamo Water Softeners. They're going to come out to your house and give you a free water analysis. They'll test your water for free. That's important because some chemicals and contaminants are undetectable. And then they'll work with you to get a water softener that fits the needs of your family. And Alamo Water Softener provides the best value for the highest quality water treatment. That's why they were voted a 2020 neighborhood favorite on the Nextdoor app. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com. Paul Catalina joins us next to talk about the NCAA punishment for the Baylor Bears. That coming up after James Pledger gives us the headlines on SportsCenter. Pledge.
Thanks a lot, Jason. We'll start off in the NFL as Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott said today he'll undergo another MRI when he returns to Dallas on Monday for his right shoulder strain suffered early in training camp. He said he never felt soreness or tightness in the arm that raised any alarm. This is just precautionary. In other news, the Texans tried to end training camp in an attempt to ban media from practices, but the NFL has stepped in, shooting down the team's attempt to circumvent the league rules, as according to NFL rules, all daily practices must be open in their entirety to local media through August the 26th. Major League Baseball, the Rangers got a 5-4 win in 10 innings, a series they'll continue tonight with the Seattle Mariners. First pitch from Seattle set for 9:10, and of course you can catch it right here starting at 8:30 with the pregame on San Antonio Sports Star. The Astros finished their short series with the Rockies, taking game 1 5-0 yesterday and capping it off with a 5-1 win earlier this afternoon. They'll get the day off tomorrow and return to action on Friday when they open up a series with the Angels. While finally, the San Antonio Spurs are still winless in Summer League play, falling to the Bulls 92-89 yesterday. They'll return to action when they take on the Charlotte Hornets at 2 o'clock, a game that'll be televised on ESPNU.
ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hey, San Antonio Sports Star listeners, this is Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. Thanks to fans like you, you can now buy Kielbasa products just about everywhere. We hope you continue to enjoy our handcrafted, small batch smoked meats because we sure enjoy making them for you. So grab some today and let me know what you think. My number's on the back of every pack. Right by my promise that if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back. Find Kielbasa at a store near you today.
Joel, I've come up with the greatest quarter moon marketing idea. It helps people multitask wherever they work.
I'm sure it's epic.
Hear me out, my supersized, sarcastic superior. I call it the Quarter Moon Office and Shower. It's a hybrid home office, complete with 6 powerful shower heads, Wi-Fi, 3 monitors, a copier, and a commercial-grade coffee machine. Paper clips to clean in your pits. You can have it all.
Folks, as things seem to change every day, several things remain the same. Quarter Moon quality service and fast, affordable help for all those plumbing and air conditioning issues that drive you nuts. One call to 210-651-5899 and we'll send an expert to your home or office and fix the issue fast and a fair price. No gimmicks, no hassle.
Boss, allow me to demonstrate. Ooh, 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 ah! Joel?
Yeah, I'm a little buddy.
This coffee tastes like soap.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number M13229 DACLA 000743458.
Running a business comes with pressure. Remote workforces, HR compliance, retaining top talent. You start to feel boxed in. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30-plus years of HR service and technology to work, offering my employees competitive benefit options while lightening my HR load. Instead of obstacles, I'm surrounded by people empowered to be their best. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
O'Reilly! The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will help with all your car care needs. Whether you're shopping for parts, accessories, or supplies, we've got you covered. Right now, get Superior Cover-All Tire Shine 2 for $16. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. Keep your car looking like new. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Yeah! Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
This is The Blitz with Jason Minix and the brightest sports insiders. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 at 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. James Pledger producing as always. We got a family 4-pack of tickets to give away to the Hunters Extravaganza coming up August 18th, 19th over at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall. If you want to go, be caller number 9 right now, 656 ESPN. 656. What's that?
20th through the 22nd.
What'd I say?
18th and 19th.
I was just seeing if you're paying attention because you're over there dancing and tweeting about Ross and Rachel dating in real life. Is that true?
Apparently.
Well, I mean, Barstool has it. I mean, they're not quite TMZ. Ross and Rachel are dating in real life?
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer.
Man, life was so good
It's
for
funny.
David
It's the
Schwimmer at one
second
point.
Jennifer Aniston nugget today.
Yeah, he's next on the list. So whenever the Hunters Extravaganza is, because apparently I can't read my own handwriting, the 20th and 21st? It's that Friday through Sunday. It's in a couple weeks at the Expo Hall. You want them? Call what I say? Caller 9? 656 ES. Just answer the phone. Is Paul ready yet? Oh, Paul is ready. All right. See, I didn't know Paul was there. You didn't tell me. All right. Let's get all serious. Paul Catalina from Sikkim 365 Radio. How do you say it?
Sikkim 365, Jason. You got it right.
Sikkim365.com. See, it's the .com I forgot.
Yeah.
Baylor got slapped on the wrist today. Is that kind of how you're taking it there in Waco and your listeners?
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a mosquito bite for sure, Jason. It's not anything that is going to change the forward direction of the football program. And look, I get that people are going to be upset about the overall, look of it, but ultimately, based on what the NCAA has the power to do, this is the only thing they could have done.
I guess that's where I don't know what I was feeling, or quite honestly, it's been 5 years, or even expecting when this report was done. It's been in the back of my mind until obviously it was announced today that, in the report, they talk about, Art Briles was aware of felonies and did nothing, but that's not an NCAA infraction. And I think about loss of institutional control, which was kind of the umbrella that covered everything that wasn't in their gazillion rule book, right? How can you write, there were felonies, but those don't break NCAA rules? All good.
Well, here's the deal, Jason. The NCAA, and I've been working on this. Look, this is an end of 6 years of covering a story for me today. And I was at the Sam Ukuachu trial. So I've been on this for 6 years. And look, I get it. Like, the lack of institutional control to me seems like what was going on here, considering in the own report of the COI, it says that, listen, this was an issue top to bottom at Baylor University, not just the football program. As a matter of fact, the football program was a very small part of this overall issue that Baylor was having, and probably continues to have in some regard, but they've taken a lot of steps to change that now, hopefully. And I'll say this about, yes, there were things that were going on, but again, the NCAA doesn't have subpoena power. They don't have the power to investigate any of that stuff. The NCAA can investigate and punish when there are impermissible benefits. So here's what happened. I want you to think about two cases. The first one is Penn State, in which the NCAA came down hard on Penn State and then lost in court a couple years later, saying that they didn't have the jurisdiction to punish Penn State for Jerry Sandusky's crimes because, again, that's not what they do. It's not in their bylaws. So keep that one in mind. Secondarily, I want you to keep North Carolina in mind. North Carolina had widespread academic fraud in the athletic department for years and years. And it was ruled that it was not an impermissible benefit because an impermissible benefit is something that John Q. student can't get, but a football player or basketball player, an athlete, does get. Well, at North Carolina, those Easy A cheating classes that they were all getting the whole student body was doing it. Everybody had access to it, so it's technically not an impermissible benefit. Is it wrong? Is it bad? Yes, but based on the bylaws of the NCAA, it's not an impermissible benefit. So an even darker turn to the impermissible benefit is that not only at Baylor they had some of these athletes that were getting in trouble and committed sexual assaults. Well, they weren't getting punished by the university for it, but neither was John Q. Frat Boy. Nobody was. It was an institutional-wide thing. So again, based on the previous legal precedent set by North Carolina and Penn State, the NCAA did everything they really could do to Baylor in regards to sexual assault, which was bring it up and say that, listen, all these things were bad, but none of it constitutes anything they could do anything about. So as far as the NCAA goes, they're handcuffed.
You know, the NCAA is a joke, and they have no teeth. And I think we all know that. That's not breaking news. It's hard for me to comprehend. I'm reading a report. You know, they've admitted stuff. They say in there, yeah, Art Briles did nothing, and that's not against the rules. We're talking about felonies, which under the NCAA rules, yeah, they can't punish you for that. So everything that Baylor has gone through as a university and as a fan base since Art Briles left and with all the investigations, essentially comes down to nothing. But the investigation did uncover a couple of minor violations, and they get 4 years probation. It just feels like with everything that was going on, that with talk of the death penalty for Baylor, which I don't think the NCAA will ever do again after we saw them do it to SMU, that all the investigation, all the money spent, all the lawyers and their billable hours, and there's nothing in a 5-year investigation, that's all you get. It just seems ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And it shows why the NCAA this fall will be reorganizing their constitution and their governance structure, because nothing they do works. They're feckless and worthless. And, when I think of the NCAA, Jason, I think of the movie Office Space, which does star Jennifer Aniston, by the way, to bring it around a little bit. And David Schwimmer denied that, by the way. So I'll just throw that out there. But in Office Space, there's a scene where the Bobs are interviewing the dude who invented the jump to conclusions math. And he says to him, "What would you say you do here?" And he has no real answer for it. That's what the NCAA is right now. What do they do? Did they figure out NIL? Nope, didn't figure that out. Did they, have they figured out how to, deal with any of the changes and growth and all that stuff that's gone on with them and the way that the world has changed? Nope. They had 10 years to figure out NIL and did, and they just were like, oh, well, let's let the government figure it out. And the government's like, well, maybe later. They've got sports gambling going to be legal here nationwide in the next couple of years. They've got to do something about that to make sure that stays, on an even keel throughout college sports. Weed is getting legal all over the place, and they haven't really have a straight line policy when it comes to that across all the universities. So they've got problems. And look, what happened at Baylor was egregious and terrible. But if people want to know how they were punished football-wise, I'll tell you this. They lost their whole recruiting class in 2016 and 2017. Matt Rule had to come in and build up a recruiting class from one player, Jalen Petrie, who's still here, to what they had in that year when in like a week and a half. He had to do that in a week and a half. So they lost 2 full recruiting classes. So it wasn't like they turned around and got big-time players. They lost big-time players out of that. The coach, the president, the AD were all fired within a month, if not weeks, of this coming down. So that happened. There's 30 or 40 people who don't have jobs at Baylor because of this. They've had to go through rigorous lawsuits and millions of dollars the university has paid out, whether it's to government or to victims or to whatever. So they've been punished. I mean, believe me, and they continue to be punished. And it'll always be a black mark on the university. But as far as the NCAA goes, it just kind of shows how worthless they are, and that, here's a huge scandal that went on at a school, and what can they do about it? Nothing.
And, it's interesting because you just touched on what I was going to ask you as we visit with Paul Catalina from SicEm365.com. because most of the people, if not all, that were involved on the wrong side of this are no longer at the university. You're on a Matt Rule's now in the NFL. Is that punishment enough? Was there, in other words, why pour salt into the wound if the NCAA had the teeth to do it? I mean, could they have gone loss of institutional control and punished them more, knowing that very few, especially in the football program that were players at the time, they're all gone. Nobody's there that was a part of this.
Yeah, in fact, this year's freshman class was in 7th grade when all this went down. So, they had nothing to do with it. They were in 7th grade. I think when you look at it, everybody looks at it as the now, because we're a very now-oriented thing. But this has been going on since August of 2015, when Sam Ukuwachu was found guilty of rape. When he was found guilty of rape, and from then on, there's a timeline of events that Baylor did not handle well until the previous administration was gone. And they have a new president right now who's going to be on the board reconstituting the NCAA's constitution. And the AD, Mac Rhodes, is excellent at what he does top to bottom in organizing and running the athletic department. So there's all these changes that have been made. Your day in and day out sports fan who's not covering it like I am is not going to see that. They're not going to know that. So while I'm not saying that let's let Baylor off the hook, things have happened. It is somewhat of a just world that, yes, they were punished for it. They have been punished for it. The NCAA is just not the institution who's going to do that.
Is the reaction today on your show at Sikkim365.com, was there a lot? Was there, I can't believe we got away with this, or it wasn't stronger, or the recruiting violations, they got 4 years of probation and a loss of some scholarships? What was the main take in Waco?
Jason, they lost no scholarships. They lost visits. Yeah, that's it. They lost
visits,
recruiting visits, scholarships. No, again, this is on a scale of 1 to 10.
So Georgia's Bar and Vitex loses because they don't get to host some recruits on visits. I thought there were some scholarships involved. I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, no. Here's what they got: a $5,000 fine. Which, if I was the NCAA, I wouldn't even mention that.
$5,000.
If Pledger was late for work tomorrow and you find him $15, you wouldn't tell people that. You would just take his $15. And so there was that. There 4 years.
3 hours of work.
Probably the hard. Yeah. But yeah, that's what you would do. And then they got all these visits and football evaluation, which is when recruits can come to practice and all that. They've lost some of that stuff. I think it's hardly anything, and it's a lack of visits coming off a year where they didn't have any visits anyway because of COVID. So it's not like they don't know how to handle it. So it's almost, for Dave Aranda and the current staff, it's just administrative work that they have to do to figure out which 30 visits they're going to take. And for the most part, a lot of their official visits have already happened. So, it's who knows?
It's a joke. It is a joke. It is what it is. Paul Catalina, Sikkim365.com radio with us here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star. So at least this chapter is closed. So I guess the next question, and still the bigger concern for everybody in Waco that follows Baylor, the idea of what's happening to the Big 12 and where Baylor's going to end up, that's still the main concern, right?
Oh, yeah. And look, on our show the last 3 weeks, it's been the number one topic. Our YouTube, we're getting calls from around the country because people want to know what's happening with the Big 12. And it's very bizarre. I think that's the big concern now is that, what happens with these remaining 8 schools? How long can they stay together? Because right now, the best thing they can do is stay together to stick it to Texas and Oklahoma and ESPN financially, because ESPN owes them $1 billion over the next 4 years. Texas and Oklahoma have to pay exit fees if they're going to leave. So they need to keep it together as long as they can, or at least until there's a plan going forward, whether it's a merger or adding teams. I mean, there's so many different things. And really what's kind of upsetting about this, it's good for talk radio. I mean, you know it, but we don't know anything. So it's all just speculation, so this team could go here, or this team could go here, but none of that's really true yet. I mean, like, I'm sure people are having talks. It's happening, but again, like, everything now is super hypothetical, and nothing really needs to happen. Like, this could happen. These two teams could leave, and then we won't see another major realignment for a decade or so because of some of the TV contracts that still have to be worked out. So there's so many dominoes that have to fall in this. It's very confusing, but I mean, certainly going to concern fans because, you know, if you're the Big 12, I mean, Texas and Oklahoma not being there, I mean, it sucks. It hurts. And the fact that, I mean, that Texas, I think it really hurts because they've done everything they can to dance around Texas and Oklahoma for years, especially Texas. And then Texas just up and leaves without, like, giving them an opportunity to, like, make it better, you know? So it's really strange.
So, Paul, we know you know. Where's Baylor going? Are they going to go Power 5 or Conference USA?
I mean, I think here's the good news for Baylor. I think that they will be a Power 5 team. And I think in this regard, even though they're a small private Baptist institution, I think that they've shown as an athletic department that they have enough value to bring to somebody somewhere. They just won the national championship in basketball. That team's not going anywhere. I mean, who knows when they win the national championship again, but Scott Drews made them a player on the national scene there. You know, that came at the perfectly right time for them, seeing as Texas and Oklahoma were about to, you know, sneak out the back door. And so, I mean, I think they'll be Power 5. I do think that Power 5 is going to look a lot different than we can even imagine.
I agree with that. But I tell you, as you bring up, and we know that football is the only thing that matters. Otherwise, people would be interested in Kansas. But with that, you know, and again, connecting dots now that nobody's going to answer these questions, but did Steve Sarkisian know that Texas was going to the SEC when he took the job at UT? Did Beard know that? Did Kim Mulkey know that when she decided to bolt Baylor after a gazillion years to go back to Louisiana? I mean, some things just didn't add up when it happened, but they certainly seem to make a lot of sense now. Like, was this as well kept of a secret as everybody thinks it was, or at least in the coaching ranks, did they know, even though the public and the media did not?
Okay, I can't speak to Chris Beard or Steve Sarkisian, although I assume that, like, they knew at some point. You know, like, you know, this is, you know, 6 months of secret negotiations. I assume that they probably looped in the basketball and football coaches. I can tell you unequivocally, without any doubt in my mind, or doubt factually, I mean, like, I can tell you, Kim Mulkey did not know about this. She had no idea. In fact, had Kim Mulkey had her way, she would not be at LSU. She would still be at Baylor. But that's a whole nother interview segment for a whole nother day. But yes, I mean, like
a pro that knows we're up against the time wall, dropping a nugget like that. What?
yeah. Look, I mean, I happily go into it. Like, Kim Mulkey was the queen bee at Baylor, and then she wasn't. So, you know, I mean, I can leave it at that, or wherever you want to go, Jason, I'll go. But I do know where you're at. So,
well, and Pledge is giving me the wrap signal, so we'll leave it at that. And I think we all know what that means. We certainly know that it was time to go. Paul Catalina, Sikkim365.com. Always appreciate it. We'll do it again soon, my friend.
Anytime, Jason.
Paul Catalina here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Let me tell you about Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram truck. If you're shopping for a new vehicle, there's no better place to go than Ancira, and I can tell you firsthand because I am a longtime Ancira customer. Through the years, I've bought many vehicles from Ancira, including one that I'm driving now. My daughter's car is from Ancira, so is my niece's car, Pledge's car. Half the people at the radio station drive Ancira vehicles, and it's because of how well Ancira takes care of you before, during, and most importantly, after the sale. That great customer service is why Ancira has been a top family-run dealership in San Antonio for decades. They're going to make sure you're getting the vehicle you want with all the options and features that you're looking for. They'll give you great value on your trade-in, the best rebates and financing options that are available, and you know price made Ancira number one. Price keeps Ancira number one. So think Ancira. Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram truck, part of the Ancira I-10 complex on I-10 West between Wurzbach and Huebner.
The Dallas Cowboys travel to the desert to take on the Arizona Cardinals in preseason action.
Let's go!
Friday night. Coverage starts at 8
Love it.
on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
You know, injuries do happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to know about Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries, and he has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available, and if you do need surgery, he's going to get you to the doc that is a specialist for what your need is. There's no reason for you to be in pain. If you're hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. You can call for an appointment by dialing 210-804-5490, 804-5490, or learn more online, tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
If your brakes are bad or you think they're going bad, get them fixed. Hi, Jason Minix here for New Brakes, nubrakes.com. They're a mobile brake shop. That means they come to you to fix your brakes. We're all busy. None of us have time to go spend hours waiting at a repair shop or want to deal with the hassle of dropping your car off and going back to get it the next day. That is the beauty of New Brakes. They come to you. New Brakes provides convenient and affordable brake repairs, and they only fix brakes, so you won't get the upsells like at a traditional repair shop. Most repairs are done in less than an hour. They use premium brake parts and back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Go to nubrakes.com. Schedule that repair. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN San Antonio. You need your brakes done? Get them done with New Brakes. You continue to do what you do while New Brakes fixes your brakes, and they're great at what they do. Go read all the 5-star reviews and schedule your repair at nubrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com. Join us tomorrow at Slackers Medical Center to celebrate the launch of San Antonio Sports Star. Our whole crew will be on site battling it out in a special edition of Sports Star Olympics, basketball, beer pong, darts, and you could win cash prizes, Sports Star swag, and John Mayer tickets. It's all going down tomorrow at Slackers Medical Center location starting at 4 with the Blitz, the official San Antonio Sports Star launch party with our friends at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar. We'll see you out there.
You've been tucked in long enough. Tucked into your home. Tucked into your virtual happy hours. Whatever that means. But finally, you can untuck. Untuck a new romance. Untuck a cold one enjoyed by a roaring bonfire. Untuck whatever you damn well please. And if you want to look good while doing it, untuck with the shirt made for this moment. Untuck it. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Find your perfect fit at untuckit.com or one of 80-plus Untuckit stores nationwide. Use code SUNNY for 20% off your first purchase.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people will remember radio ads. So, 82% of you listening will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. 82% of you will note that if you're hiring, ZipRecruiter finds qualified people for your job. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And 82% of you will remember that you can try ZipRecruiter for free, but you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ribs, burgers, chicken. Submit what you cooked on the grill or smoker, and you can win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market. Grilling with the Blitz. Online at sasportstar.com.
Jay, Will, and Zubin on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM, 1250 and 94.5 FM.
And if you've been doing work on that grill, make sure you upload it at sasportstar.com. Upload that photo because we're doing Grilling with the Blitz tomorrow, 6 o'clock. You can win a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. We're going to be at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar tomorrow starting at 4 with the Blitz. Rudy J is going to be there, Rob Thompson, Carl Schoening, and you with a lot of free stuff to give away. We'll see you tomorrow out at Slackers. It's going to be a party.
Here we go. The Dallas Cowboys live here all season long. Every snap,
I love it.
every catch,